I was kind of amazed. So he asked me, they're recording this. Do you want to keep going or do you want to leave the meeting now? I'm like, continue. Never seen that before.
I'll try anything twice. Cheers, everybody.
Here we go. We got the chat going. Oh, and you know what? Before we even get going, I'm going to switch it to live chat right off the bat, except for my computer's freezing up, and that's not happening. There we go. Now I can live chat. And hit it like. Fuck yeah. What up, Kingfisher?
Cheers. Kingfisher. It's Friday. You want to come on, Kingfisher?
Oh, here comes Uncle Rick right at the...
Uncle Rick.
Oh, Uncle Rick. I was going to ask where that old man was.
RZ, cheers, bro. I love Uncle Rick's tapestry. It's awesome.
He's going to be just like Crazy Pop Mom here before too long, and he's going to have about 8 million of them. It's but it's cool because it just...
everybody.
When you get stoned and you look at Crazy Pop Mom's background, you just want to lay there. It seems like you'd be floating on a bunch of like cloudy pillows or something, so bright and vibrant, and just looks fun to be there.
Hey, Uncle Rick.
Hey, good to see you, White Widow, Black Widow. Oh, and you too, Prophet. Hey, buddy.
Well, me and White Widow are never usually on screen at the same time. This proves right now we are two separate people. If any of you thought that.
Absolutely.
I'm also Batman, so.
Yeah. Batman, he's Darkwing Duck. I don't know what the fuck I am.
Oh, Sam.
I'm the girlfriend that bangs them both.
Holy fuck. My computer's all fucked up right now. I forget jumping and skipping and doing fucked up things. I'm like, is that me all high as shit? And it's like, no, it's
all that weird stuff you've been looking at, Brad.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought you were going to remove some of that crap in there.
You know what it is? And like, because I think I figured this out like just the last couple of days. Every Caribou Heart TV podcast I've ever done is saved at least once onto this computer. And in the pre-show, we were just talking about how we started off when it was just me and the show was about a half hour long on average. And then Rick jumped in with a few other friends and it was average about 2 hours in length probably. And then 2.5. And now it's average seemed to be about 3 to 3.5 hours in a shot. So that's a lot of memory taken up in this computer. So I got to learn how to take it off. I don't know this stuff.
You could save it to the cloud and then delete it off your hard top.
You almost say that as if I know what you're talking about.
I say the same thing, man.
Never mind.
Buy an external hard drive. Buy like a terabyte external hard drive. You can store all that things on there and keep your computer clean, man. That's like $80 for a terabyte external hard drive.
Okay, so yeah, I know about hard drives. I had one of those for a while, and it was cool. That was on my old computer, though.
If you have a computer, you have a hard drive. The tower is the hard drive.
I don't have one of those. I just have a laptop.
Okay, well, the laptop is the hard drive.
Yeah.
Anything saved to the computer is the hard drive.
Yeah, but it's full.
Okay, I'm just telling you, you have one.
Well, I knew that, but I was talking about the external one that you plug into the USB. Because I used to have one of those.
Yeah, delete some of the porn. That's probably a good idea.
Actually, I can tell you right now, there isn't any porn on this. That's not really my scene. It's like, my thing is always this. Like, yeah, you watch porn and there's like really hot chicks and you get horny, like, but you either rub one out or you bend your old lady over and do it. And then it's like, after that, what's the fucking point? Like, to me,
I know, what's a 3-hour porn movie for?
I don't know. I've tried following the plot before.
It's hilarious to follow plots.
Has anybody ever even
Dude, I got out of prison.
How did the movies end?
It's just weird. I was like, what the fuck is going on with this shit these days?
And this is how you grow cannabis.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. So it's really great to have White Widow, Black Widow both on screen, particularly Black Widow. We never get to see you, so it's like extra special. Hello, it's great to have you. Crazy Pop Mom jumping on us. That's great to see you. And we've had a little bit on here once before, I do believe, but this is the first time you've had your very own screen. So
it is true. I'm doing okay.
What are you smoking on?
I am on Northern Lights tonight. That's where I'm at.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
And Crazy Pop Mom, you seem to have a guest with you. Who are we talking to here?
This is my daughter, and who are you?
I could talk.
Yeah.
Oh, do I get to say my name now?
Yeah.
I'm Lady Glittersparkle.
Oh, hey.
Oh, I love it.
Not bad.
Bling bling.
We've been waiting to use this name for 4 years.
Well, you've done it. What are you guys smoking on tonight?
GG5, I think. Yeah, GG5.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I like it. I was just talking on the pre-show there about how I actually got to smoke some Arise for the first time. My plants that are back seeded out and whatnot, when I was just there looking at them last weekend, my number one phenotype, it got thrown in a bloom chamber before I was ready for it to be. Long story short, it's miles ahead of everything else. And when I was looking at it, most of the buds on it weren't fucking very pollinated on it at all. So the ones that did have seeds, I left there and cut everything else. And without giving it a proper cure or anything, and considering it was a very poorly grown plant, I've said this over and over again that, I want people to keep my plants alive, and that's what they did. But there's a very good looking, good smelling buds on there. And I'd say it's a pretty good kick in the ass. So I can't wait to give that one another go when I can actually give it some TLC.
Stealing the screen, and I'm stealing the motherfucking bitch button.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, hello.
Hello. I'm sorry. He likes to use the shut me up button. I call it the bitch button.
A mute button, sweetheart. We know what he calls it, but it's called a mute button.
Mute button. Yeah. Well, she went to go make him a drink. He had to pee. So yay.
Yay.
How are you guys?
Oh, we're great. So this is the White Widow show now for the next few minutes.
The White Widow show.
Take it away, White Widow.
What kind of crazy gossip do you have on Prophet? Like, is he a premature
Oh,
pack leader?
my God.
Oh, give it up fast.
He's not the pack leader in no way, shape, or form. Black HBIC, head bitch in charge. She wears the pants. Like, if I want to do something, I don't ask him. I ask her. I am not stupid. I know how the chain of command goes. And so does he. No. So, okay. So, like, it's her.
You be talking again?
She was saying he talks shit when she leaves, but then she comes back, he shuts up. When he leaves, he'll be talking again. So it's White Widow or Black Widow, the kids, White Widow, the dog. I like to think I'm on the same level as the dog because she's like the coolest person in the house. No, go away. Go away. We're having a White Widow session.
I noticed
Dude, I hear all this in the bathroom and I'm sitting here laughing.
I mean, it's pretty sad when he didn't even rate as high as the dog, okay?
Hey, you know what? I'm okay with that. I love being woman number B.
Woman number B.
Where did you put the pink lemonade box?
You're like Bobby's number B. Sorry, Prophet, I had to do it. Okay, so I was just in the chat there saying that I think it's about dab time. We've been talking for at least 5 minutes and nobody's done a dab yet.
10 minutes.
10 whole minutes. Damn. Yeah.
Don't have that. Oh,
Sing this down about for our brother Opie.
yes. Dedicate this one to Opie. We were talking to him, Raider was talking to him earlier, and he said he might try and see if he can jump on here for a quick bullshit with him. Because what I was planning on doing was straight up ambushing Opie with a phone call on the show here, and not malicious in any way, shape, or form. We've got nothing but love for that brother. Let's make that clear. But it's like we haven't, that dude, he's been busy working. I got nothing but respect for a hardworking man, but I love my brother, and I'd like to chat him up. And I think he would have kind of liked to have been, hey guys, how you doing on the show here for a few minutes. But we'll see. Raider got to him before I could. So we'll see if we can get him on here. Oh, shit.
You know, the only thing I'd hate to bother him while he's driving. You know, driving and talking on the phone don't mix.
Well, this is true, but also Opie, we got to remember, this guy's done an entire show while he was working. So it's, if anybody can do it, it's Opie. But Driz, your point well made. We should just wait for him to try and jump on with us if he's got the free time where he's stopped, safe. Because if we were the cause of an accident, holy shit, that would be.
You know, I would hate to be that. I mean, certainly he could pull over at a truck stop sooner or later to pee, and you know, maybe get on for a minute or two.
Yeah. So I got my nectar collector back. That's another fun toy I haven't touched in months. So I should do a dab like that, I think. No, fuck that. I've already got one served up on the spoon here. So my amazing girlfriend here, BC Stoner Mom, I came home to some peanut butter breath shatter and some lemon meringue live resin. And also some lamb spread, but the lamb spread's getting thrown in the fridge for save the best for last kind of thing. She bought that last time and it was fucking fire. So I'm going to shut up and do a dab. Somebody else, please talk for me for a bit.
I seriously have never heard or seen peanut butter shatter. That is sweet, dude. Peanut butter breath is one of my favorite strains. And to, you know, hear peanut butter breath shatter, that's really cool.
I'm hoping my buddy Myrtle Man, he's like kind of my great seed guru, as I've referred to him before. He's got some peanut butter breath rags straight from Thug Pug that he wants to give me a bunch to make some F2s with. And then also, you know, for other breeding projects, see what we can do in there. So that could be really interesting.
Dude, you got a home for any of them that you want to get rid of right now. I'm telling you, before you even get them. Some you can get rid of, send them my way, man. That's my strain.
Grace, you'd be the very first person I would be sending any of those to. I've recalled many times where you've mentioned that particular strain. This is, you know, like how we like stoners seem to have a particularly good memories for completely useless fucking knowledge. Well, I remember my friend from Oklahoma, his favorite strain, even though I've never had the pleasure of shaking the guy's hand and looking him in the eye, you know, or sharing a joint with him. So,
dude, if I could get there, I would be there in a heartbeat just to visit, man. I mean, shit.
I'm with you, brother.
California? Damn, that's a long way, brother.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I get that. It's like I've said before. It's what'll end up happening is I'll end up going down to the States somewhere, and meeting up with you guys. My girlfriend, she's right there with it, into that idea. She likes that. Oh, and what's that?
My sister might be too,
oh,
so
shit.
I don't have to be bored with baseball.
Her sister might want to come too, and then because she's worried about seeing a bunch of baseball games, because I was like pretty adamant that I want to see some MLB baseball games if I go there, because we had this great circuit figured out where, like, Chicago, there's the Cubs and the White Sox, and then Sam lived right nearby, so there's the Milwaukee Brewers, and then Fluff lives right by, I think it's the Cardinals stadium. Is like, that's like fucking a lot of awesome stuff. And then, you know, so that would be like fucking amazing. Unfortunately, my girlfriend doesn't think too highly of that idea.
Sounds like a snore fest.
Yeah, but she doesn't
hey, you know, there's plenty of things for two women to do in any of these big cities, dude. Plenty of plays to go to, ballets, all kinds of stuff for women to do, man.
Male strip clubs.
You say ballets?
Yeah. There's probably like a flower garden to go look at on the side of the road or something like that.
Y'all don't have
And all
male
these
strip
little
joints?
towns, they got all these festivals like Azalea Festival. That's one coming up in a little town near me soon.
We do the garlic fest around here. That's about as good as we get.
Seems like all the little towns have those kind of like things more than like the big cities do. They don't really have things like Harvest Fest and Garlic Fest and Azalea Fest, things like that. That's all little town stuff.
Actually, Forest Grove, which is pretty much right where Rick lives, they do a music fest called Hootstock every year, which I haven't had the chance to see it. I think it's like mostly like local bluegrass and type of stuff like that. But
Kind of like Jazz Fest in New Orleans, like all outdoor, everybody just playing music. I always liked that one.
Like, that would be awesome to walk through that. Fucking just
It's
listening.
like up and down every street, nothing but blues and guitars, and it's all free.
Fuck yeah. I know. I want to do that, and I want to do it with Sam. That would be my choice of people to go do that with. That'd be a freaking riot. But Prophet knows music, so he can come too. And Rick, you like live music, so you'd be a freaking riot to go see a show with. Well, you know what? Basically, everybody's invited, I think. As long as you like live music, we should all go check out New Orleans and just like, fuck, that'd be awesome.
Dude, I can tell you where to go every week. My wife's from New Orleans.
It's dirty down, but somebody's got to do it.
So great to see everybody. Great turnout in chat already. And nobody asked me what I was smoking on, so I guess I'm just going to have to tell you anyway. So the last show we had was the first time I ever tried live resin. And I took a hit of this thing, and holy shit, I felt like a little bit like Rasta Jeff looks when he takes a toke. But it was so beautiful, and it got me so high. So that's what I'm back at again. This is the live resin creamsicle, and it was made by my friends at Easy Peasy. So this time I took a much smaller hit, but let me tell you, the terpenes that I got off that first hit was just amazing, absolutely incredible. So I don't know too much. I've just started doing some research on live resin and learning about the way they make it and so on, and it's really quite interesting. I mean, I'm sure everybody else knows. It seems like, I'm the last one to learn anything, but yeah, I guess the process is they take instead of drying and curing the bud, they just take a fresh bud and freeze dry it, instantly freeze it, and that way it preserves all the terpenes that you would normally lose during the drying and curing process. And now from there, I don't know how they turn it into live resin, but I'm going to learn. And boy, oh boy, this is my fave. Great to see everybody.
I'm with you on the live resin front, Rick. I've been heavy into the concentrates the last few weeks, and yeah, live resin is the shit in a good way.
Okay, who's up next? Drizzt, what are you smoking on, buddy?
Well, I'm smoking on my shredder, and I've topped it with some dragon fruit live diamonds. The resin's okay, but the diamonds are a girl's best friend, buddy.
Right on. By the way, I was was doing a count, and yeah, we're evenly matched, male and female tonight, 5 and 5.
Rick, get your mind out of the gutter. We know where you're going with that. We're not able to orgy on the screen like this to
Leave it to statistical Rick. I mean, if he's not talking about azimuths and degrees, he's talking about doing polls on how many people there are here.
He likes the odds. The ratio looks good
He's
to
a
him.
numbers guy.
So I got to tell you a little bit about my personal life, what's going on. I'm a bit overwhelmed right now. I just, well, buddies and me got together and laid tile in the kitchen, and it really didn't work out as well as I was anticipating. And so I got my fridge and my stove like in the over there, and that's a pain in the ass. And now I've had to go back and do some repair work on the job, and I haven't done the grout, so yeah, so that's a bit much. But I also got all my stuff for my irrigation system. So if you will bear with me, I'll just show you what I got. It'll be like an unboxing. Woo. So I got a pump. I got a pump. There's a 1/2 horsepower pump. And then I got this thing that's on top of it, and I swear, I don't know what it is. This is why I'm overwhelmed. This is incredible. It's an inline SWC. Honestly, don't know. I know that it's got a check valve right here. Okay, so when the timer goes off, the pump stops and the check valve closes, so that all the water that's in the line, it'll remain there. I've also got a safety feature in this pump that if my reservoir runs dry, it turns off. So that's kind of cool. And then I've got
Where's the flux capacitor?
yeah. Is that what it is? I'll bet you that's what it is. God damn it. Okay, again, this is something else. It's hooked up to
Gigawatts.
solenoid, and it's got to go somewhere. And this is well, this is quite simple. This is a filter. So the water will come through this way, and I guess some sediment. It'll.
Uncle Rick, I recognize that word, filter. That's the only thing I've recognized so far.
You need 88 gallons per hour to run through that for that to run properly.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to leave this to people with a bit more intelligence than me. And I've also got this is the controller, like a timer, and I can set up to 6 feedings a day. If I can ever get it open, I'll. Yeah. So this is the Rainbird controller. So as I put all this shit together, I'll keep you up to date with pictures on Cannabuzz and Instagram, and I'll keep you in the loop. Okay. Oh, and I've also got these are the manifolds. So each manifold has eight lines, and I'm going to have 2 lines running to each pot. And yeah, so there's that. And yeah, a bunch of other, hose and oh my God, what have I done? What the hell have I done? Okay, back to you folks.
That was a crazy, awesome amount of information. I can't see it. I want to see if it works. You have to let me know if it works.
flux capacitor, I didn't get the other part either, so.
Oh,
I'm not a Back to the Future fan.
That, correct?
Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
that,
That's why I said you need 88 gallons an hour to run through there in order for it to work properly.
Oh, I get it.
Okay.
I wanted to talk with you about something. My son was, he's got Amazon Prime, and we were comparing, I'm watching that Yellowstone right now. That's a pretty cool series. But he was telling me about another series, and I've got, as a matter of fact, I think I do have the name of it. But when he told me, I thought of you, Prophet. These are supposed to be a group of superheroes, but they're all bad dudes. And I'll get the name of it and I'll get back to you on that one. Where would I put it in my gazillion notes?
But Prophet's like my favorite.
they do it for
It's not the boys, right? It's
Get
not
them
called
out
the
of the mouth.
boys.
Yeah, that's it.
Son of a bitch, she was right.
Yes.
Damn.
Thank you, Uncle Rick.
Well, they're not all bad.
They're-
Well, the one guy, he seems to be going south.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
fuck, I
Yeah.
gotta write that down
There's a
now.
couple, yeah, the boys.
the boys.
I only caught season 1 though.
Mm.
I heard Lucifer actually added the second half of the last season, so that's what I started doing today.
Don't
That's all he's
try
done
to prove
today.
Prophet wrong too many times. It really gets into his self-esteem.
Yeah, my pride. It stings
I think-
somewhere. Where is pride? Where's that kept?
Way down in the subcochal area.
Oh, that's where it hurts.
What's up,
Where the colon.
The colon. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's what your butt hurt.
exactly. That's what pride is.
So if I could eat that gram of honey oil, just be, I don't know, about 5 o'clock our time, so like an hour before showtime there. And I kind of am already feeling like I need to eat something else here. So
Prophet's got chips.
No, he means
yeah, I need to get higher. See, this is the problem. It's like I need like a cannabis equivalent to drinking, where it's just like you could just like ingest and get, like, but not drunk, because drunk is just not my preferred method anymore.
get that scissor. Make that syrup.
I might try. Might
It's
have
pretty
to.
heavy hitting, man.
Is it?
Prophet
Yeah.
gets all fucked up when he makes it. Keeps licking the spoon.
Yeah. Licks the spoon till his eyelids are purple and he can't see in Chinese.
Seriously, I've been told it's pretty
He
hardcore.
tries to get it all into the bottle and then he's like licking the pan.
I mean, why
Awful.
let it go to waste?
Huh.
I don't blame you.
Maybe takes a nap.
Long time.
I'd have to look into this because it's just, yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen good weed in a while. It's been all kind of average-ish around there, or slightly above, but not like nothing to write home about. And so I do mostly dabs because dabs are awesome, and because dabs, at least I know if I go to the dispensary and get dabs or whatever, they're gonna fucking do the trick. You're just about guaranteed that, at least, right? So I've been doing that, and it's just like trying to just smoke joints to get high. You know what we're all talking about when you just sit there with your buddies and you just blaze and blaze and blaze and get your friggin' like way fucked up. Well, what the fuck am I seeing here? You guys want to show on camera here? There, got some kids doing makeup here. They want to show themselves off on camera. This is my daughter. And your girlfriend's daughter.
Who is?
These are cute. You give them the horns? Yeah. See, that's my kid right there. Fuck yeah. What happens here is just as kind of we were getting ready to start the show is my daughter got here and she's kind of got the big sister thing going on with Adelia, the girlfriend's daughter, which is really cool. So as soon as she walks through the door, they're doing all this funky girl stuff like putting makeup on or henna art or whatever. It's just hey, that's oftentimes I'll be doing the show because I get my daughter starting on Fridays usually, and I'll be talking to you guys, and the door gets busted in with girls doing weird, silly stuff, and it's just I love it. It just bursts my heart with joy, to tell you the truth. I love it, and like the sound of kids laughing, man, that is something that is not present enough in my life lately, and it's just like when I hear that out there in the hallway or whatever, it's just like, you know, you stop and you smile. It's like, I haven't heard that in a while, you know.
Cool. Right on.
Can't help but love it.
Hey, if you haven't read Blue's Kiss Garden comment, I mean, she says, I'm writing a book, The Slothful Stoner. Not sure when it'll be out. It's going slow.
Wow.
That's a wordsmith right there. I'll hold my breath. I wonder if it's got to be done in shorthand.
I have a question for Crazy Pop Mom.
Oh.
Is that really your daughter?
Yes.
And that's real. So that's really your sister in the other square.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Like you guys all look
And we're
like the same age.
We're literally like the little family of the world.
But you all look the same age.
Well, I appreciate that because she's super freaking young.
How super?
Not young. That's younger than what I am.
26 is kind of young, but
I got a lot of kids. 26 doesn't feel that young for me.
I'll drink to that.
The
boys don't have a dad bell us. Yeah.
So which one is a complimented and which one is not?
They both should be.
Both had a meter after that question.
Your ass. You're trying to make me look like an ass. I was saying all three of you should feel like complimented. And
I do. Thank you.
Yeah. And
that one
Uncle
time
Rick,
that-
look, I fixed my hair for you.
And then Anthony felt really good.
Yep. Just because you had to go and mention my roots. All done. Fixed.
Seriously, you mentioned your roots?
In a polite way.
Roots.
He mentioned ours, like me and her.
I think it grows out good because it's darker.
Here, I have lots. Do you want to talk about them? I have lots. Here, we can talk about them.
They're great. They're great.
They're meant to be dark.
Exactly. That's what I told her to say.
How the fuck is it the oldest guy on the panel can see your roots from here when I can barely see your faces?
My eyes are split, and there's so many squares that like you're all just little
as good as
blurs.
I should. I have no idea how he's seeing any of us.
Like,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Like I'm starting to think Rick
the most
really
attention.
immortal here. Rick, what's your secret, man? Like,
He watches it later.
And then he's like, I'm going to pick on one girl and what's wrong with her. And she's going to have to defend herself and try to make herself look better just for me.
Oh,
So, and that's what happened.
that's gang. That's
well, it must have worked because he's
Everybody wins.
Relax.
So
Kels.
it's because Uncle Rick never played video games. That's why he's still got eyeballs to see us all, and none of us do.
That's true. He
That's
doesn't
my
do,
theory.
he doesn't
I
do
was
really
actually
good
very
with
big
computers or anything. So
Ball in a cup. Ball in a cup. It's a ball.
So Carapoo, are you happy that you have a panel full of women now?
yeah.
You know,
it
a few
is
months
pretty-
ago you said you wanted this, so here you go. Here's your panel full of women.
Oh, no, well, this is great, and trust me, you guys are a lot more. I'd rather look at you guys than pretty much any else on the panel. You guys are a lot better.
Down with the sausage party.
I
yeah,
told you, Julianne, it's eye candy around here.
I know. I even put in my pretty plant just in case they get tired of looking at me. Here's my
Aw.
wonderfuls. Wandering Jew. Zebra is what I call her because she's beautiful.
Aw.
I want to get one of those. They almost look
They're
like
super
coleuses.
easy to grow.
Yeah, they look like coleuses. I bet you they're a lot like coleuses.
He had
Yeah, they
redheaded
are.
coleus. It's like our, what do we call it? Our
Love
child? Love child?
Love child.
Lucy.
Yeah,
Lucy.
Lucy the love child.
I love that.
She's a redheaded coleus, so it's a redhead.
I saw it. I had to buy it.
And now every time it makes a baby, we name it after somebody. We got like Scarlet and I
Yeah,
don't remember the other ones.
I've had it for like 7
Awesome.
years. Man.
No, you
Oh,
have
wow,
not.
lots of babies then.
Yeah, no. Every person, every therapist, every doctor
Okay,
within
five.
like 5 miles of our house,
She left.
they all have a really pretty red thing. And yeah, that's us.
Yeah, I handed out a bunch of them. It's so easy to call.
Just so happens to be all in therapy and, Kodak type
Every
places.
single one of all of our therapists has one.
Mine has 2.
They need extra.
All 3 of mine have one.
Right?
Oh, why?
Hey, hi.
So you've got to tolerate this geezer boomer, but I promise I'm only going to ask one more time, and then I'll never ask again. I'll just.
Don't worry, Rick. I'm the boomer in this show.
You're not a boomer.
I'm the only boomer. Okay. Okay. Please. Why can't I highlight somebody's name on my iPad?
Uncle
And
Rick,
I'm not-
you have to do it exactly the way their name is with the @ but exactly the way their name is. So if it says Matt space H, you have to do it that way. So like Caribou Heart Organics or whatever, you have to do it exactly the way it is on the screen. That's
Okay,
why
but-
it works some days and doesn't work other days, I think.
Okay, but here's my dilemma. Sometimes when I do that, I put an @ and then I'll start to enter the name and then suggestions will come up and then I just have to click on one of the name. that
I've
I'm
never
looking-
had that. I have no idea. You're luckier than I am.
That means you're doing
Hey,
it
Rick, I
right
figured
thus
it out.
far.
Really?
Yeah.
If
Like,
it was- when I
if
go
you-
to do it, I click on their name and then copy their name and paste it. That way you just put an @ sign.
Oh, you
and
cheater,
paste.
pumpkin eater.
Okay, but then why is it that sometimes okay, for example, if I'm watching somebody else's podcast, it works for me. But if I'm
Mhm.
on our own podcast, it won't work for me.
I just put their names in really bold letters and hope that they know I'm talking about them.
That's what I do.
And
I know,
what
you told me
do
that.
is what I do is I don't do anything.
Those are
I don't
beautiful
want
pearls.
to ignoring chat because chat is just a fantastic part of this whole show. And but it's so frustrating to try to.
Black freshwater.
Sorry, we're
Oh,
discussing the pearls in her ears. I
You,
missed that last part.
Far more interesting than whatever I'm trying to figure out here.
What's so funny over there, DP? You're laughing your fucking ass off. Let me in
Oh,
on the
yeah.
secret.
Yeah, you know why? You know what? His suggestion is
I'm just
turn
big,
my
that's
iPad upside down and shake the fucking thing. And he had me doing it last week. Fuck. And he now he says, "This is funny."
That was kind of funny, Rick. I'm sorry. Just gotta turn it upside down. Tap the right corner.
Oh
Double tap.
shit!
I missed it.
We got
Oh,
Opie coming in here.
Opie.
Oh my goodness.
Telling
Is
stories.
that really Opie?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Now it's a party.
Opie, you there, brother?
What's up, people?
How the hell are you, man?
Well, working, man.
Oh, dude, Dude, this is so fucking awesome to hear you, man. It's been far too long. I was gonna ambush you with a phone call earlier just so we could talk to you, but Raider was like, hey, let's do it this way and see if we can get him just to jump in for a few minutes. So thank you, buddy.
Ain't no problem, man. Anytime.
So what's
I
new?
told him later he'd have to stop to take a piss at a truck stop and he'd get on for a minute.
Dude, I'm sorry, I missed that.
I just told him that sooner or later he'll have to stop at a truck stop to take a piss, and then he'll be able to get on for a minute.
Oh no, man, I'm running, dude. But it's all good. How's everybody doing?
Oh, we're doing great, man. It's Friday night. We got a fully packed panel here. We're like women everywhere as opposed to our usual fucking sausage fest rubbing up against each other. It's quite the thing to see here. It's not like us.
We love women.
We do. It just women don't like us as much, it seems.
We do too. We like
Hey,
you guys
don't
and we
let
like
me on
women.
the other shows, so don't even go there. You started this. I'm only allowed the crazy out on Fridays. It's your own fault there isn't pretty on Tuesdays and Sundays. So, And hi, Opie. It's nice to actually talk to you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I would turn my video on, but like I'm in like legit work clothes and all that crap, so I
Hey,
can't.
we know what you look like. We can imagine.
I am too. You're good.
How are things going? How are things going outdoors, OP? Hey, Spartan, great to see you, man.
Yeah, the outdoor grow didn't happen, man. The neighbors, I had some neighbors get crazy on me, and the other neighbor was he was really cool, but he got pissed off at the other neighbors that were causing trouble, so he's hiring a survey crew that could come in at any time. So I was just like, we need to step back. It's not worth it, you know. There's penalties here for that. So
yeah,
and I was like, where I was gonna go was like kind of in the lines. The only good spot I could find was like right in the lines, and I would have people all over it, and I can't do it. So we're replanning, and we're going back to doing the my focus is now getting that room built, getting the sealed room, getting some CO2 going, and rocking it.
Right on, right on.
And I've missed you, Uncle Rick. I have missed the shit out of you because every time I come on chat, you're like not there. So I'm always like, how's Rick?
Yeah, well, good to see you, buddy. I tell you, here's my dilemma. Well, in a nutshell, technology. And I'm getting worse. I hate to say it, but I'm getting worse. I don't know how to get into my, but Discord, forget about that. And I don't know how to get into my Patreon, which is really pissing me off. And they have no phones. I don't even know if they'll accept an email. It's very, very frustrating, but where was I going with that? No, I didn't even make it about me. But you did mention CO2, OP, and usually with this crowd here, I don't really have a shitload to say or even ask about CO2, but Spartan, great to see you. And Opie, if you have some interest, we started a conversation when Bob was last on, and it was about CO2. And I just have a couple of comments and probably more questions than anything else. Just gotta find it in my, yeah, of course I don't know where it is. Anyway, there was some of the things that were on my mind. Spartan, no GML tonight? Sorry, Kenny, in the middle of your drink there.
Yeah, I'm just as surprised as you, man. I haven't heard anything from him, and well, I've heard just the normal back and forth, but yeah, no show popped up. So I said I gave him a half hour, still no show popped up. So I said, well, I'm jumping on here. I'm not waiting anymore.
Well, that's their loss, my friend. That's their loss. But
I need some backup. Thank you.
Their
I
loss, our
need a
gain.
Spartan up in this room, man.
Happy to
Think about it
jump
again.
in, man.
Don't make us put.
Hey, Spartan, I actually got a question. You're pretty familiar with RSO and stuff. So,
Hell yeah, I would make it some today.
so CO2, right? So if you get a CO2 extraction, now what are you losing in that opposed to like a grain alcohol?
What I would be more concerned with is what's left behind. And with CO2 is I haven't done it myself. So this is me just taking information from what people have told me as far as CO2 extraction is. But CO2, a lot of that CO2 is leaves behind impurities. So when it flashes off, I don't know what the word is for that. When the CO2 comes out of the solution, it leaves like a grease or an oil behind. So it's considered to be actually like less clean than what an alcohol extraction would be. Especially like for me, for example, I always use food grade alcohol. So if for whatever reason I don't purge all the alcohol out, at the very least, I know that it's food grade and it's not going to hurt anybody because it is an ingested product. You're not smoking RSO, not generally.
Well, because it's like I went and go get some RSO and I've gotten the CO2 oil instead, and it's just like it's not the same thing. And I know you're obviously going to be losing a lot more volatile terpenes in the CO2 process, I believe.
I think CO2 is a lot cheaper. The process is a lot cheaper to operate that way. I don't know, man. It's just like every time I talk to people, they always look down on it. Like
I know. I mean, I can tell a huge difference in it, and I don't personally like it, but when it's advertised as RSO, you know what I mean? And then you get there and you get a CO2 and it's like, well, it was advertised differently. You know what I mean? Like I would have never gotten it at that process. And then it's just like, you get disgusted if they don't know the difference between themselves. And it's like, well, you're giving it to the medical community. Like it's kind of just like, you know, they don't know what they're talking about at the end of the day type deal. And it's just like, what the hell, you know, it's just kind of frustrating, you know?
Yeah, but to be fair, at the same time, this is like in a new emerging market, and because of the speciality of it of being still federally illegal, but it's legal at the state, that means the federal government, so FDA, all these governing bodies that normally would kind of force a new industry to have standards. You know what I mean? Just exactly what you're saying is, hey, one person will call it cannabis oil, the next person will call it RSO, the next person will call it FICO, and the next person will call it, there's a million names for the same thing, or a name doesn't.
Is that still considered RSO, the CO2?
Everybody uses RSO because that's the term that the majority of people recognize as cannabis oil. So RSO is just a method that Rick Simpson used if you want to be a stickler, you'd have to use naphtha as your solvent, not alcohol, if you wanted RSO. That's why I try to not even call the stuff that I use RSO, but that's just like the industry standard. That's just like what everybody's calling it. But what I use, it's really like, if I can call it whatever I want to call it, I call it full spectrum oil. That's what I call the stuff that I make.
That's what I go with personally.
I do feel like a big difference in the two, when I ingest it, there's a huge difference to me. And it's just,
it probably is that
one thing, then I feel like it should be kind of advertised as that, because if I would have known it was the CO2 extraction, I would have really gone for it that way.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I say is the problem in our industry is just the education of the public and the people working there. Is like, I don't know. I mean, how many times have you walked into a dispensary and felt like I know more than this person that's trying to help me?
It's just crazy what they're giving. And if they want to call it the medical community, you know what I mean? If you want to be a rec shop, be a rec shop, but don't sit here and piss on my leg. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and that's what a lot of these people do. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm just like,
look at what they're paying them. The guys working at the dispensaries and then the trimmers probably are the ones that get paid the least amount. And then you expect them to, on their own time, go and study up and stuff, pay me minimum wage and expect me to do that? No, you better pay me money if you want me to be knowledgeable. You know what I mean?
I was talking to him a lot of stuff that, we've talked about, and a lot of you guys are talking about with the MCMA coming in, and they're just looking around like, yeah, damn, dude, I feel bad. I'm like, Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna fun clock out and clock back in tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, so. But yeah, just bringing that awareness out though, just the look on their face, they're like, damn, yeah, I am a part of this shit. Fuck, you know what I mean? Except for like this one guy, I was like, you don't care, you know. But yeah,
that's really what we're doing here. I know we're just hanging out, talking, or whatever, but really, we're normalizing it. We're sitting here smoking, and everybody sees that we're not acting batshit. Well, most of us aren't acting batshit crazy, and you know, we're holding our shit together, and we're normalizing it. And that's what we can do. That's what each person can do. And anybody out there can fucking consume cannabis and just be a decent fucking human being. And I mean, that's what got me to be interested in cannabis early on. Is like, oh, look, my cousin smokes like a tree, like a chimney, like crazy, and they're still cool as fuck. So obviously, maybe I should look into this. Maybe I'm being lied to, you know, things like that. And I don't know, I get a little frustrated when I hear people say things like, you know, all the different cliches about how, you know, there's nothing we can do. There's a big corporation with millions of dollars, and how can you fight that? That's how. Every single day, you just fucking be a cool ass person, and fucking don't hide that you smoke weed too.
Well, they actually banned me from the dispensary because like I want to kind of stop, and I just
I would wear that like a badge of honor, bro.
Whatever. That's just one, you know. Like I don't ever go anymore just because I've learned enough to stay out of them. But like, I really wanted a card for work and popped in for a live resin card, and it was defective. And I still haven't heard back from the fucking original Zen Leaf dispensaries. You know what I mean? Fucking from Verano. You know what I mean? Huge corporation that came from out of town and bought this little ass fucking dispensary that I used to love. Gave out nothing but good promotional products, nothing but good education. Verano came in, bought them out, changed out everything. You know what I mean? I still haven't heard back from them. You know what I mean? They got these jagoffs in charge over there. They don't know anything, man. You know what I mean? And it's sad because I sit there and like you said, like I have people coming in for panic attacks and people are trying to give them like fucking Durban poison and shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, calm down, like know a little bit, you know, and you have to educate. And that's a big thing that's missing. You know, I'm a pro legalization, but I'm really pro education more so. And like you said, and that just comes with normalization. You go to places like California, you go to a kid's birthday party, they got a fucking fenced off little plot over there and nobody thinks anything of it, you know? So if not, they're checking it out and like a positive note.
Yeah. And it's also important to speak out about those things when you see them. That's another thing, you know what I mean? It's like, we can't be everywhere all the time. So when you see something crazy or you see something, it'll take you 2 minutes. You might get banned from the dispensary, but it'll take you 2 minutes you might change that person's life. You know what I mean? It might be their first time walking into experiencing cannabis at all. And you save them from a bad experience and having a bad story for the rest of their life to tell about cannabis and how terrible it is. Because
my biggest thing, I just wanted them, I didn't want them to comp the order or anything after that. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted them to tell the next person coming in so they don't, because I was looking for, you know, a certain type of relief with the RSO and the CO2 just doesn't hit that. You know what I mean? I got really bad back pain and it keeps me up a lot at night. And so I need that deep setting, you know what I mean? Relaxing. And the CO2 version just doesn't do it. And it takes me 2 hours to get out of there. You know what I mean? It's not a fucking easy thing for me to do.
Oh my God.
I work a lot. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's a pain in the fucking ass, dude. And I chose them out of all these fucking places. You know what I mean? So it's just like, cool, bro. Thanks for spitting on it. You know?
Yeah, dude. That's like salt in the wound too, having to go 2 hours.
And that just shows what big cannabis is about. They don't care.
Yeah, you already know how I feel about that, dude.
Yeah,
I've been
that's what I'm
fighting these
saying.
guys. Oh.
I'm all worked up now. Like, fuck. So it's hard to turn down.
Yeah, preach it, brother.
Somebody else take over. Dab time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really got to endorse what you were saying, Spartan, about. Well, I've always been frustrated with the stigma associated to cannabis, but I just recently came to the realization that, well, first of all, I never thought it would be legal in my life, and I mentioned that on a podcast earlier, and somebody much younger than me said, "Hey, I didn't think it would happen in my life," which got me to thinking that, you know, God damn it, we have come a long way. Like when I look at my life, how long it was illegal, and in over such a short period of time, guess what? We are normalizing it, and you're absolutely right. Podcasts like this. So basically, it's up to each and every one of us just to go out and be a what's that word?
Cannabis warrior. You'd be a cannabis fucking warrior, is what you fucking be.
Yeah, and set an example, and yeah, I recall, I distinctly remember when they legalized rec in Canada. I was talking with a couple of friends sometime prior to that, and they said both of them are non-smokers, and they said, oh yeah, when it becomes legal, the shit's gonna hit the fan. It's gonna be like chaos. Well, guess what? You know, the day it was legalized, crickets. I mean, it's just like no biggie, no biggie. Life went on, just yeah. So give it some time, and quickly, one more thing. You know, been following what's going on in Michigan with the caregivers and so on, and you know what? It's the same thing. Just carry on, and everything's going to be fine because we have a strong support group here, and I think it's going to carry us through. So if I could, hey, guess what? Found my notes.
Oh, real quick, Rick, I want to give you a tip. Maybe this will help you. What you were talking about earlier with being able to tag people and being able to have the autofill like you're talking about. For me, I only get the autofill when I'm using a computer, my laptop. That's what I'm on right now. If I try to open it up on my phone, it will not autofill, and you got to type it completely out. So my suggestion would be to try to get a laptop or some kind of computer to open up your so here's a tip for everybody who's doing a podcast, man. This was life-changing for me. So all you got to do is when you go up to your chat, this is Reslow's speech, but you can pop out the chat. So to do that, you hit the three little buttons in the top right corner that shows the chat of YouTube, and it pops it out to its own window. And you can resize it to any size you want. What I do is I just make it half my screen. And then the other half of the screen is my Zoom panel that shows all the panelists that I'm talking to. So I have one computer with one computer screen, but I have it split with the windows. Half of it is my YouTube chat. And then I just close the YouTube video completely. I don't even watch the YouTube video. That's closed out. I just pop out the chat and have that on half the screen. The other half of the screen is my video feed, all on one thing. And then you don't need to use your phone to chat and all that bullshit. You can just do it all on the computer.
Cool. Right on. Along the same lines, okay, there are some, when I watch people on other podcasts, like for example, Skilbo, like pretty much everybody on the panel here, like I look into the screen, but when I look at Skilbo, it's like he's sitting over here and he's actually looking at another screen, and you get a side shot of him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That guy comes in so professional looking. It's almost nauseating. I have to say, like, he looks like a radio host, like straight up. And it's just like he's in competition with like the old school ones, like fucking damn it,
they're pretty.
I can't think of his name. Shit. But you know who I'm talking about.
I love it, girls.
He does remind me of
Face
like an old
adorable.
school.
Yeah.
But you can do that, Rick, with two different ways. You can get a camera that's, a USB camera. That way you can move the camera wherever the hell you want it and get whatever angle you want. Or I think
don't tell him that.
I think in Skilbo's case, that's what he's doing. But you can also, I've seen setups where you can do multiple monitors. You can actually hook up, depending on how many video cards you have, or some single video cards, you can hook up to 4 fucking monitors too. And that's actually what Sequence his setup. He's got 4 monitors. And,
that's so powerful.
So you can see, you have all this workspace, and you can have everything going full screen if you want.
Right on. Yeah. The good news is I got a monitor, but the HDMI cable that runs between them, I just ordered an adapter, and of course I ordered the wrong one. So you know how it goes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
a lot
now
of
I
people are
got
just getting
to
TVs now,
return-
just getting with the HD TVs. A lot of people, it's cheaper to buy a fucking TV nowadays and just hook it with HDMI to your computer and use that for your monitor.
Yeah, I got a smart TV in the bedroom, and I can watch YouTube on there, but it would be way too overwhelming to try to move the TV here or my stuff in there. So
You got Prophet's mom in there too in the bedroom waiting for you.
it's this is our
Holy shit! I think you actually caught him off guard with that one, Spartan.
I'm
I was typing, man. I tried. But I was like, fuck it. I'll take the hit, you know?
Good thing
Rick, I think
Prophet
you're trying to
wasn't-
remember you found your notes. What were you talking about?
Sorry?
Nothing
What were you-
important.
Yeah, what were you talking about with your notes? You had a question for somebody else. I think you said you
Okay.
had to go refer to your notes.
Okay, thank you. So when the last time Bob was on, we got into CO2, and well, he was saying that he didn't have a monitor. He must have had a controller, but didn't have a monitor. And when he finally got a monitor, his CO2 levels were around 4,400, which is pretty scary.
Wow, that's high.
Yeah, he was having headaches and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, at around 5,000, it'll just kill you. So anyways, I did want to talk a little bit about CO2. One thing that I've just realized recently is what you have to do with the monitor is you have to recalibrate it every now and then, because what happens is, say if your set point is, say the low is 1,000 and the high is 1,200, the controller will activate your CO2 or your burner within those parameters. But what happens is if the controller or the sensor starts thinking that 1,000 is normal, where actually 400 is normal. Anyway, bottom line, what you should do at least once a year, take your controller and take it outside and plug it in so that it will recalibrate back down to 400. The other thing I wanted to say, was about safety. I mean, you got to have a controller, or you got to have a monitor to know how much CO2 is in your room. You should also have a CO2 alarm. And whenever you change the tanks, you should have a bottle of soapy water, and you should actually wrap the cylinder in plumber's tape, and then have that bottle of soapy water just to check and see if there's any leaks there. And you just want to be careful with that. The other obvious things are, and I did want to specifically ask you about one thing, Spartan. You had mentioned it on a previous show. Is your fans. Okay, the CO2 is heavier than air, so nothing wrong. I mean, I like to have fans above the canopy and at the canopy and even below the canopy. And some of those fans you can actually, have on a bit of an angle blowing back up again. So, the CO2 might get a second chance to circulate throughout the room. Barton, you were talking about the AC Infinity fans and getting a cyclonic action thing going on in the room. I just wondered if you could elaborate a little more on that.
Doesn't matter the fan that you use, you can apply it to any of the fans technology, but the most common thing that I see in a grow room is usually an oscillating fan sitting on the side of the wall, and it'll oscillate left to right, blowing above the plants, which is fine. And, you know, I even see it in big grows sometimes. You'll see walls of them spaced so far apart, oscillating back and forth, blowing a little bit. But I actually have changed my, I've always done the same thing, to be fair. But I never questioned it. I guess I've always done it just because I've seen it done that way. But since working at Mint Canico, we've actually had a fan company come into our facility, and they basically borrow one of our grow rooms to put their own fans in to run tests and see, you know, we get the benefit from having awesome fans in there, you know what I mean, at no cost. Only in the one room, but still, there's still fucking fans, and it's free fans. And I got talking to one of their technicians because I was curious. Nobody else really cared, but I did. And he was showing me on the screen, like the actual, like if you could see air move. So it was like representations on his, with all these meters they had hanging in there to show you the wind currents in the canopy and how it was like interplaying with the canopy of the plants. And long story short, the best way that they found with their multiple tests to really mix the air the most efficiently was to mix it just like you would mix a bucket of water. You know, you stick your stick in there and you turn it like this. You don't do little micro, you don't go on the edge of the bucket and just stir a little bit here and then go on this edge and stir a little bit here. No, you just take the whole thing and you just do this. And they found the same thing. So instead of having oscillating fans going left to right, just set that oscillation so that they're all to one side, and they stir that air in that direction. You know, it doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. It's just you need to stir it in the same direction. The way I set up my rooms now is I'll do that above the canopy and below the canopy. I don't like to blow on my plants, but I'll blow above the canopy, below the canopy, on my lights. I love blowing air on my lights, things like that. But yeah, so think of just the mind switch. Just spin the air around like this, and it mixes way better and more efficiently.
You just love blowing.
Well, they're helping each other too, right? Because there's no fans really blowing against each other at any time. They're all helping each other around. That's what makes it so efficient. Whereas the other fans, they'll get off, you know, you can never time it so they're all exactly timed at the same oscillation. They always get off. So you're always working against each other sometimes.
I was talking about you personally, but yeah, I hear you about the fans.
I just ignored it.
No. Yeah.
So what's safer though? I mean, is it safer, like if you're going to run CO2, are you going to be safer with, say, a Titan controller, or are you going to be safer with just like a bottle? Because like I was looking at the generators, like the 2-burner generator, because the room I was going to do is maybe 10 by 15, right? So are you better off to go with the burner? Are you better off to go with the generator? Or are you better off just to go with the bottle and the regulator?
I always recommend, and maybe somebody has other opinions, but I always recommend the bottle with the regulator. And the reason for that is you're getting pure CO2 that way. When you start burning things, you're introducing heat into your space, even if your burner's not in your space, it's somewhere near usually. And you're introducing something that you have to upkeep. Something like you got to keep those tips clean or get them replaced. If they're not and you don't, then they're going to start burning weird and off-gassing weird things into your grow. So it's just like, for the headache reasons of it, I just like, fuck all that, and I'll just get the bottle. So I know I'm just getting pure CO2. It's just a valve that opens and closes.
Yeah, and a regulator must make that a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, the regulator, well, yeah, exactly. The regulator,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
To a monitor.
Well, and the controller, of course. You want a regulator and a controller.
Okay.
So yeah, that all comes together in one piece usually. So it's all in one box usually. You can get it all the setup all together. It's the regulator is the hardware that's going onto your tank, and then the controller is just a monitor that monitors the CO2 levels that tells the regulator to open and close. It's all one piece. It just sounds like a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because I didn't consider the byproducts coming off of the burners or making sure the tips were clean. I mean, I've dealt with propane and shit my whole life, so but it just didn't cross my mind. But yeah, that's a very good point. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the CO or the burner can sometimes be a more not what's the word? Not efficient. Not efficient, but just more convenient. The CO2 tanks can be a bitch to move around where the access. But
A
but
tip
also,
there is you pay more for the aluminum tanks, but it's worth it because they're cheap. They're a lot lighter than the fucking whatever those other ones were made out of cast iron. It feels like they're so heavy.
Yeah. That's what I was using was the 45. I forget.
50
But
pound
anyway,
probably, the big tall ones.
Yeah, the big tall one I think is a 45, and I pay more now for the refills for the 20, but at least I can grab it and just throw it in the back of the truck. And where the other one, it was I needed help. I mean, I know.
Yeah, dude, I've got to the point now where I can't really take a full one of those tall ones like you're talking and go downstairs with it without worrying about breaking my fucking neck.
Yeah.
Not by myself. I've done it, but it wasn't safe by any means. I mean, I scared myself, so I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, no, I wait until I've got help. And then I got Buddy to build me like a coffin for my big tanks, so that the neighbor, so that I was trying to be more discreet coming home, bringing
Just
this
tell him
tank.
you got a keg, dude. Tell him it's for your kegerator, and just carry it out proudly.
Anyway, I got to tell you though, last year the neighbor got busted for growing pot. I guess what happened was I wasn't quite clear on where the property line was. But anyway, I digress.
That's amazing, man. I think I would be doing that to my neighbor every year if they weren't my friends.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I'd just like to throw out some other questions here. Caribou, that's a good paint job, absolutely. That's cool. Was that like Phantom of the Opera kind of thing? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, Rick, I'm willing to field any and all questions, but first and foremost, I'm going to have to insist on a dab time. Now, since I've got obviously underage kids in the room, I'll wait till they jet before I think about doing that. So I'll sit here and blather on like an idiot for a minute or two. There we go.
Where did that come from?
That's Driz.
Over here. No, that's actually White Widow.
Yeah, it's my song bowl.
Sir, blame Driz all the time, man. Way to go, guys. Thanks.
He didn't get that good boofing the kazoo.
That works good. Well, it's just like I'm hearing bells literally everywhere, it seems. Everyone seems to have. I was like, wow.
I like the frog, man.
I think the frog's badass.
It's unique.
No, I've got an idea in my head. I want to get a recording of Sam doing the frog over and over, and then have some kind of cartoon frog that I can put on a screen share. And it would be awesome if it was like an actual cartoon, like moving instead of just a drawing, but have it jump up and have someone say "dab time, motherfuckers" or something cool. Like
have it jump across the screen for everyone.
Yeah,
there's probably software out there that'll let you do it, like an OBS software or something like that, that would allow you to do that kind of stuff without having to screenshot. Like you could probably just push a button and it would do it.
See, that would be even better right there, because then you could, because that'd be the other thing I've always wanted, even since before I got into a podcast, is some kind of keypad where I can have half a dozen different buttons or whatever, and they make weird, stupid noises, like one would dab bell kind of shit.
That would be fucking cool, like a soundboard. That'd be
yeah.
Sweet.
Somebody fucking cracks an extremely lame joke, and then you get the one that goes wah wah wah, shit like that. It's all good fun.
and it has to have like 0 delay. It has to be fast and responsive. It can't be like, you can't be waiting for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's got to be able to overpower anybody that's talking on the screen too. I think that's got to be the main one. Is it's just because there's so many times, well, just trying to call the dab there's I tried jumping in is because it's like when you do start talking, it's so easy to talk over someone and not they get lost in the mix. So it has to be something that just overrules everybody. It's doable. It's totally doable. I just got to figure it out.
There is a button, I think, for sure, for the host to mute all people. So it would have to like tie into that somehow, like mute everybody first and then do the sound effect and then unmute everybody or something.
Yeah. Or just, have it so that like once the dab frog thingy does its thing, then you're free to unmute. But because I'm looking at the mute all button right now. Profit's like just drooling at the thought of, I could shut every one of them up. So anybody got anything exciting planned for the weekend?
I've got 3 bags of weed to get through the weekend, and I've already got through 2 of them, so I'm on the last one.
Ooh.
But my buddy at work brought them to me today. It was his first grow, so I was super stoked. He came in, he brought me a bag of weed and 3 bags of weed. He's like, I want you to try all of them and tell me your honest reviews. And I said, dude, you didn't have to bring all this shit into me. I mean, look how much weed is in here, dude. And he's like, dude, all the weed that you brought me, I can't bring you no weed. I'm like, no, dude, I'll take it. So it was one of those things like you didn't expect it. You know what I mean? And karma came back. You know, I love that stuff, man. I love it.
Dude, that's cool. So how like an honest review, how was it? Keeping in mind it's a first grow.
Yeah. So for his first grow, I mean, minus the first grow shit, this is some decent weed, man. Like number 2 and number 3, I don't know what strain they are, but number 2 and number 3, I have they're 2 very different strains. I mean, it's the same strain, the 2 phenos, but they're very different. One is almost an orangey like terp profile, which I don't care for, but that's just my person. I don't like that. It's very common in the orange terp for me that it's like a very astringent on my throat, and like it's like almost like a cleaner, and it bothers the back of my throat. It's like very astringent, and that's the terp it has. So I automatically am not going to be a fan of that. And then the number 2 though was more like an earthy, but it had some kind of a sweetness in there that was really like intriguing to me. So between the phenos, to pick the phenos, I would tell, I'm going to go back and tell them that commercially number 3 would probably be better, but it's a terp that I don't like. So personally, I would go with number 2 if I was pheno hunting with that for that strain. And then the Delato, this one, he actually wrote the strain on this one, the Delato. I haven't tried it yet, so that'd be my next one.
That's exciting though. Still, man, like that's to have that kind of review coming from Spartan Growing on your first grow, because I'll never like my first review from like an older grower that I knew at the time. He was kind of like an uncle to me, and I've even just mentioned this on the show recently. Is basically he opened up my jar, looked at it. I don't even think he got it close enough to take a whiff at it, and just kind of jarred it back up and just put it in, just kind of. That was kind of what, and there's no offense taken because I knew it wasn't great, but I was still so proud of it, as any grower should be. That's your first crop.
I am opposite, dude. I don't know what it is, makes it weird about me, but the excitement of a new grower, I like feed on that like a fucking vampire. It's like that fucking excitement fucking drives me. It gets me excited. Like I'm all of a sudden excited for their grow. You know what I mean? And I'm not even there. And that's the way it was with my buddy here. He, TJ's his name. I'll shout out to him, TJ. And I mean, we would talk daily. That's how excited he was about his grow, and I'd get updates, And so, it was just a really cool experience. And then for him to bring me and here I am smoking it now. So that, I mean, it's super cool. It's just that I recognize the passion, you know what I mean? And how can you not get excited when somebody's so excited about something? You could talk about fucking, I don't know, fucking picking up shit. But if you're that passionate about it, I'm probably going to listen and get excited about it too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very cool. Kind of a similar situation is when we were last weekend looking at my grow tent I had there at one location, and my girlfriend's in there playing around and just watching her because she hasn't been around plants like these in a while. And even though they're a pretty rough bunch of looking plants, she went in there, just had a blast, just clipping all the dead leaves and the rotten leaves and all that stuff off there. And I was kind of standing over off to the side, and you just kind of look over it every once in a while, and it's just like the look on her face, it's there. It's just like what you're talking about, you can see. So it's just, yeah.
It's so like what you're talking about. That's so rewarding. It's like instantly rewarding when you go into like a plant that needs some work. You do a little bit of work, but as soon as you take those leaves off, it looks instantly better. It looks instantly better. It's I mean, that's what's cool about gardening is you can get almost that instant gratification and the long term. Like I'm planting it now, and in 3-4 months from now is when I'm going to get my harvest. So you get like the best of both of those worlds. You get the instant gratification and then the long term.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, and just the relaxation of it is great. I got to do a bunch of that over the last weekend, which was amazing. Is just hanging out, playing in the garden. There's the one plant that I wanted to take a picture of me beside. It's been sitting there. It's in like a little 2-gallon pot, but this thing is over 6 feet tall. I'm 5'7.5" about there, and this thing is close to a foot taller than me, and it's still in veg.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so we're throwing that outside, see what happens. And then I think I showed on the show already, but on the weekend there some other plants that are 4 feet tall that we put out there, a dynamite and a purple romulan, and it's just out there playing with those. It was just and they were actually my plants that I brought out on when I had to make the Great Escape there. It was just kind of,
it'll be nice for him to get outside anyway, just for him to rejuvenate. There's something about the sun that just fucking, it's I think it's the right amount of stress to really kick in its immune response. And that's a little trick I used to do. I used to grow outdoor every single year. I had a spot a guy let me used to use. I haven't been able to do it for the last couple of years. But I would always put all the plants I wanted out there and then cut clones off of them before they went into flower and bring those clones back home and use those for my regular indoor for the next year, because it's something with the outdoor would always rejuvenate them, it seemed. Make them so much stronger.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. My thing with bringing clones or anything from outdoors is I got burnt real bad by bringing dirty stuff in from my outdoor garden indoors, and spider mites just had to deal with that whole problem. So I kind of had nothing from outdoors comes into my garden policy.
Okay,
and I did that when I was growing with bottled nutrients, right, and trying to keep stuff clean. Well, now I'm reverse. I want stuff living and crawling in like that in the soil, so I still got to get over that. But with all these plants, and then same with those what are they called, freak shows, those Arise, that purple punch, all the stuff I had in that tent I was showing off on Friday night, that stuff's pollinated and sitting there, but I flipped the lights back to re-veg on those. So next time I go there in a month, those seeds should be good and ready, and then I can take to harvest what I want off those, throw those plants outdoors for further growth, and go back in a couple more months, and there should be some good healthy shoots that I can, because now I want to start playing with those. I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. I actually got to smoke some of that Arise because I was going through it when I was cleaning everything up. And one plant got flipped to sooner than everything else, so it was a week or two ahead of everything. And even though it was a very poorly grown plant, when you peel back all the dead and shitty, funky looking leaves on it, there's some beautiful, extremely crystally looking buds on there. So it's I'm just I smoked that without even giving it a proper cure. There's not really enough there to make it worth your time, in my opinion. But you get, you do those test joints, and it's okay, there is something definitely there. So I definitely want to try and grow that again. So I'll throw all 5 of those outside and see if I can cut clones.
That's exciting to hear, dude, because I've got a pack of Arise seeds sitting in my vault to fuck with one day. So that's cool to hear that it's there's something good in there.
Yeah, I smoked 2 of them back to back as I was getting ready to not go to work yesterday or this morning, and I felt like I was doing dabs, 2 joints back to back. And usually it's 2 joints just to get you going, and then there's usually a third one followed not too long after that.
Yeah.
But I was I was in a real good fucking state.
Yeah, he says it's really a potent strain, and that's what his male that he breeds with always brings to, like, it makes everything more potent when he hits it with it. So it's kind of why I bought the pack, because for one, it's always a policy of mine. If I'm going to buy a pack of seeds, I want to buy their flagship, like the thing that they're proud of the most. And then, you know, if that's his breeding male, then hopefully I get a good male out of that bitch, and then I can breed with it, right? So that was another thought in my mind.
That was exactly my thought for why I wanted to work with Arise, because as a little hobby level breeder, I'd had troubles finding the right male and not really knowing what to look for, et cetera, et cetera. And then I've heard
Me too.
And shit. That was good. That was good. Fuck, I don't even know where I was going. But we've heard about how King Solomon, he seems to have that, you know, make everything bigger and better than it was before. I'm like, okay, well, there should be something in there that I'll look for. And I've never worked anything from Irie or anything like that before, so it seemed like a good time. But I didn't get any males out of these seeds, unfortunately. And I think that all 5 of my phenos I did get seem to be pretty close. So it's we'll see. I'm interested to be able to actually take the time and go through them a little bit more thoroughly, hopefully this fall.
That's cool. That's cool that they're close too, because that means it's worked. You know what I mean? He did some work there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to get going. I got to go to work in the morning, so I'll see you guys all later. Y'all have a great rest of the show.
All right, Driz. Love you, brother.
Man, what kind of party's going on over at Crazy Pot Mom, man? I need to
I know, right?
There. Shit.
She needs a pillow to hold her head. Like,
I know, they're about rolling on the floor out there.
I got a fucking headache. You would not know this, but I have a headache. Really, really bad.
Well, I have a Motrin 800 with your name on it, if you could make it to Rhode Island.
You were always trying to like get me to send you stuff through the mail or have me like
I'll send you stuff.
You know we're not neighbors, right, honey?
No. I refuse to believe that, because I've hitchhiked from Ohio to Louisiana and I found neighbors the whole way.
Then
So
you come here then, because clearly you know how to travel. I have room to stay here.
No,
See?
that's the fucked up part. She gets lost here. Okay.
I know she gets lost there. You're right. I remember. I'm sorry. You stay there. You're going to not make it here anyway.
It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal.
but I know how to hitchhike. I just don't know always which direction I'm going in.
You're gonna become a lamp one day.
I would hitchhike with a serial killer.
Actually, they were more worried that I was going to hurt them than, like, seriously, apparently some little redheaded girl for a while between South Carolina and West Virginia was getting guys to pull over in their trucks, flagging them down. She'd get in the passenger seat, and then they'd find the body next day, zip her open, and stabbed to death. No girl. And they were scared to pick me up. It took me a long time to get to Louisiana. Till I got a female driver and she told me that story.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That makes a lot of sense. That's fucking great.
Oh. So we let you into our party. Now we're done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of funny when you guys first jumped on in the Zoom. I was kind of disappointed that we didn't have your bright, colorful background. That
I wanted to bring it with me because I was like, hey, I can bring that with me, you know.
But then, like as Spartan kind of commented, you guys are looking like you're having fun there. It's, I think it's a lot more fun watching.
Well, everybody's watching me.
Awesome. Here, I'll
Hey,
put that on
Caribou.
speaker view.
Oh, he wants me to talk the whole time. So.
I think Stony wants in. Can you send a link to chat, please?
We don't want that guy in here.
Ooh.
We know his type.
Yeah, so there's jellyfish right here. Or at least that's what my daughter bought it for, or like gave me money for it. She's like, here, Mom, there's jellyfish there.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was like my third painting. I'm like, it's awful. She's like, there's jellyfish, Mom. What are you talking about? So, everybody finds their own things in it. But I was like, I'm too new for you to be like handing me money for something that is so like not viable.
No, because it's going to be worth money someday. So she's getting in on like prime real estate.
Oh, well, then she got it for a darn good deal. Fucking damn right.
Crazy Pop Mom, she told me she bought it out of pity. Okay, I'm just saying.
Well, that's what I got. Kind of like my pain cream for my sister.
Ouch! I was trying to make her feel better.
All you got to
feel
do
like
to make
it's
that
wall and
more
everything.
valuable is simply
Kill her.
die.
I hate to say it, but yeah, as soon as you're dead, your art will be worth through the roof.
Oh, I'm thrilled with that. My kids will be like over the moon about that, won't they? The grandchildren, pass off already, you old biddy.
You should see her face right now.
My kids love you, okay? Willow would be very sad.
Well, it'll be very sad. That's why she's crying with a smile on her face.
No, Willow's the one upstairs. She's the one that really loves me. She's a grandbaby.
Going on, Stony. Great.
Hey,
to
what's
see
going on? How's everyone doing tonight?
Oh,
Good to
doing
see you,
great.
buddy.
Hi, Stony.
Good to see you, man. Were you playing tonight?
No, not tonight. I got my kids tonight, so
Right on. Yeah.
no, we're gonna do a show Sunday night at my buddy's house. There's a couple of bands I guess are gonna be there.
Cool.
Kind of kick off the summer. So I'm gonna probably put that up live on Instagram. Probably start around 4 p.m. Central Time. So if you guys are interested,
Excellent.
we'll be on
Okay, I'm sorry. Sunday?
Sunday. Yeah, 4 p.m. Central.
What
Do we
is
have
that?
to check? You want me to check the latitude, longitude for you
Okay, so
and the
Central-
time bearing?
Is this central or is this central? Okay,
It's
so
this central. Yeah.
So central, no, Eastern, Central, Pacific. Am I close to being right?
Yes, you're right. Right
So
on,
it's
brother.
5 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock in here and 5 o'clock in Michigan.
I'm not in Michigan. I'm in Illinois.
I was thinking.
Yeah, but we have
about-
different times. Like I'm
Right.
pretty close. Like Illinois,
You're
and
an hour-
Michigan, we're like we share a fucking border, but we can't be on the same time.
No, you guys are an hour ahead. So
Yeah,
it's weird because it's sunset
coming from the
there. at
future,
like-
bro.
It's like 10 p.m. when I'm out there at my buddies and the sun's setting. You know, we're here. It's 9 o'clock. So it's pretty fucking weird.
Yeah. And then we got that daylight savings crap that goes on, and it just really screws. I haven't set my. I get so frustrated. Another technology thing, trying to set my my wall clock every 6 months to go ahead an hour or back an hour. Fuck that. It's 10 o'clock. Always in my life when I look at the clock.
I do the same thing with all my light timers for my plants. Fuck changing the time. No, it's staying the same. It's just gonna be I'm gonna be an hour earlier, an hour later. That's it.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. I was doing the same. Yeah. Somehow it bit me in the ass when we started Caribou. We started doing this podcast. We talked like, okay, well, what's the best time? We're both early risers, and so we decided 6 o'clock. I'm usually up. Oh, that's what it was. My timer was set for 6 a.m. My lights went on at 6. No, they went on at 5. So I thought, okay, it'll give me time to water, and then we'll do the show at 6. And and that was fine until daylight savings came or went, and then all of a sudden it's all at the same time, and oh God, what a nightmare! What a nightmare!
Poor Uncle Rick. I'm not allowed to unmute myself, so don't tell on me.
Oh, you have the authority to unmute yourself.
But he told me not to. So if I want to get laid, I'm gonna have to keep myself muted. I know he can hear me from the bathroom.
Okay, your thing around your head makes you look adorable because you're not gonna be able to see it in the messenger because you're not allowed to look at the messenger.
You look like you're like wearing a little hat thingy.
The orange thing around your head, yeah, you look adorable.
Like a little pom pom, a fuzzy orange pom pom. That's what it looks like.
It's not your hair, honey. It's the tapestry thing in the background.
It's the juggalo.
Yeah, that thing, but behind your head.
I have it tattooed on me too.
I wanted to call him a gigolo, but I was like, wait, maybe it is a gigolo. Is it
Juggalo, baby, and juggalette.
I wanted to say it wrong first. I'm sometimes
See, and now he's out here, and now he knows I was talking.
It's my fault.
I know.
I told her to unmute herself. I needed to know something. It was goddamn important. So shush up, Prophet.
To be honest, I kind of enjoy these little chat sessions with you. So Black Widow should probably come up with chores for him to do during the show a little bit more often. He can leave. We can talk to you.
He's got plenty of chores. He just doesn't do them.
They get done in here where it matters.
He'll end up going to do it.
Take care of what she wants.
With him.
Yeah.
Wasn't that why you got two of them? So you don't have to do anything?
It doesn't work that way, dude. No. I wish.
She gets on cleaning sprees, and then she gives us like things to do, and
For 2 weeks I clean, and then one day she cleans.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't really clean.
I just spray Febreze everywhere. You know what? Everybody thinks the house smells good.
Yeah, no.
Am I wrong?
No, she is not wrong. It's horrible.
It's horrible.
I've literally put myself in a living hell. Okay, but I love it. I love the anarchy about it. So,
I totally get what you mean about the whole spraying the Febreze thing because I do Scentsy. So I just put a couple wax cubes in, close my eyes, and pretend the house is clean.
Right. It's fucking awesome.
yeah, but I don't comprehend
I did it
because
too.
there's two women that are burning 7 candles each in their own rooms, and then several throughout the fucking.
Two. Just so you can see when you stumble in.
Okay, and then several throughout the house. So I'm like, how many? Like every room I walk into is a different sense, and it's fucking with my like sinuses and shit. See,
It's not
I'm not lying. All right, this
I
shit
have 3
happens.
floors and like a million outlets. I'm gonna use every fucking one with a warmer. Damn right.
She's not lying.
There's like 20 warmers in this house, and they're all going.
Yeah, no, she keeps buying me warmers, but none of them are going. I only light a candle if I think I might get laid, so he doesn't trip over stuff.
Walked in there, and they've been candles.
Yeah, you know why
You're
they're
the one
candles?
killing himself
Because I
for the love
assume
of
you're
it.
coming in. And you know what? It's worked every time.
Not sure. I grabbed the dog and gone to bed.
Yeah, he does that a lot. That's true.
I want my dog.
He's got to cuddle with somebody.
Yeah. So 43 in chat.
Where's the bong, Prophet?
So have we told everybody to hit that like button yet? You know, we never really do that well.
Would you
Yeah, that's
please do
Indica's
the
job.
honors, Crazy Pop Mom, in memory of Indica? Thank you.
In memory of Indica.
See, that's another thing I need that button for. We were talking about Spartan is I need a recording of Indica giving his spiel about hit the like and subscribe and all that. That way, when he's not here to do it live, we can even have one of the people on the panel pretend to say it and just they'll be on mute and it'll be Indica's voice coming up.
There you go.
I like that.
It's not the same, man. You got to have that live. You can't duplicate that.
Cheers,
Yeah,
Tony.
You're right.
PP,
What's
what's
up, man?
happening, man?
How are you, brother?
All right. I thought you were getting tied up tonight. What happened?
Yeah, she's resting.
Oh.
I had to go find a parking spot. You know how it is over here, man. After 9 o'clock, you gotta get that car out of there before it gets towed. I was lucky I got it out. So
Chicago's making money, baby. They sit there and wait by the second.
I'll tell you what, man, that shit, they don't play.
You guys live far apart?
Yes.
Oh,
About 100 miles.
Yeah.
okay, sorry about the geography question. Okay, but since we're on geography, Stoney, you have a bit of a commute, don't you?
I did, yeah, when I was working. Because I'm a Chicago electrician. I'm a union electrician.
Yeah.
So primarily I work downtown. My last job was pretty much as far as you can get east before dropping into the lake.
Yeah. And so you're like 100 miles from downtown? No.
Yeah, it's well, the last job I was on was 92 miles, I think, like 91.8 miles from my driveway to the job site.
Yeah.
That's one way.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I basically, yeah. Fuck, that's right. So I got other plans.
We got a question in chat here. Or no, I don't fully understand it.
See, I was
We're trying to figure it
about to type
out.
the question out and exactly try to figure it out.
Read it out here. So it's, what is your opinion on changing the light cycle 9 hours forward in veg? So what my first wondering is, do you mean like changing the timing settings so that, like, say if your lights went on at say noon, you want them to go on at like 9 p.m. and you're doing it during this, right? Change, and so you know what I mean, resetting your timers altogether.
How many hours total is he in veg now? In lighting would be my first question. If he's asking, would it be okay to move at 9? I mean, you could do 24-hour veg, so realistically, yeah, it'll be fine. But what's the original hours so that we know exactly what his 9 hours are going to equal? Would be my first question.
I just have if we're talking about light cycles and moving light cycles around, my general rule of thumb is if you're in veg, extend the light period, and if you're in flower, extend the night period or darkness.
Right. He said yes, but I'm not sure which yes he said yes to. You guys all asked a question.
Yes, Stone is at the finest.
17, he said.
But yes is the answer.
17.
Yes is the answer.
Okay. I don't know what 17 means.
That would be 27. 20.
Can't put numbers at me like that.
That'd be like 26 hours, right?
17 and 9 is 26, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like 26 hours, right?
Yeah. Dark Raider says yes. I don't know what he's saying yes to.
I'm too high to figure that out. I don't know.
Add CalMag.
Mr. Rod said 91.8 degrees, though. And I said.
Oh.
I think the important thing to like, if we're talking about switching from veg to flower, the important thing to remember is you're far better off to extend, if you're switching, to extend the light period rather than interrupt the dark period. That's like you were saying, Prophet, you can run 24 hours in veg, but once they go into flower, it's vital that they get their 12 hours of sleep. And if you interrupt it, that really pisses them off.
Right. And you want to, if you're going to do anything in flower, you can sacrifice light and extend the night period, but don't go the other way. Don't sacrifice the night, because then you're going to get into re-veg.
17 hours in veg. He's saying 17 hours in veg.
17 hours in veg.
He's got 17 hours in veg. That means he's running 17 on and whatever that would be.
How many?
20, it's still 26. If he's adding another 9.
Move the light cycle.
If he's just talking about moving his light cycle 9 hours forward or back, yes, you can do that.
Yeah, if it's in veg, you can do that. But the more light you give it, like you said, the better in veg. I like to give mine sleep time, and I like a little break on the power bill. So, the 6 hours of sleep for the 18 You know, I think the plants need sleep because they tend to do underground root searching with the light, like while they sleep.
I agree with
They,
you.
you know, so that's just my opinion. I do the 18.6 in veg, but
I do that too.
I know people that do the 24, but I mean, that's just me.
That's just wasteful.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I can't ask this chick to work 24 hours a day and then bam, throw her right into flower and expect her to just produce. I try to give her some time to sleep and get used to sleeping before I shock her into like nighttime in the flower too. Always been a thought.
It's actually really the opposite. You're not shocking it at all because you
No.
have to remember you're taking 12 hours. You know, you're only giving it 12 hours of light.
That's true.
Before it's used to way more. So that's one step
Agreed.
that I think a lot of people aren't. One step that a lot of people aren't really considering is that if you're using the same light in flower or veg and flower, you're doing your plants a disservice. You should really be upping that by about 20 to 25% once you get into flower because you're reducing the amount of light time-wise by about
Right.
20%.
But I'm going from a T5 to a 1000 HPS.
Okay, so yeah, you're getting your intensity difference.
Yeah. So that's not a concern of mine personally, but that's good info. Yeah.
I think I learned the most on a Friday night.
Shut up.
Did you just tell me to shut up? Do you want me to smack you on a Friday night?
The house are bound to learn something. I love it when one goes in the house because
Hey, why don't we set
I'm
up a
watching,
Jell-O
White
recipe
Widow. I'm watching. Come on.
Did you really have to ask if he wants to be slapped? You know he wants to be slapped.
Sorry.
I'm not stupid. I know I'm going to get tagged back. So if I'm going to hit him, I'm going to make it worth it because he's going to hit me back. Really? Being the only guy that
Unfortunately, we're
didn't.
still watching.
Well, see, like every guy that has ever hit me, I'm from the South. So when they hit me, they only hit me once.
You end the fight. Boom, boom, yeah, on the floor. Look, that's
Yeah,
it.
and apparently he knows how to hem people up.
So it's just, I don't want to get hit.
I've been
I wanna
told
hit you.
I'm a little bitch, and there's a reason why that is. It's
I will wrap
because I'm
everything
small
around.
and I'm loud, and people are just like scared at the whole process. And I'm just like, either you take me or you leave me, and that's
I will
it.
hug you. I will hug you until you are exhausted.
He will hug you till you're unconscious.
I'll just sit there and hug you, and then
Most
that's it.
people say, "Oh my God, you're
Go to
super
sleep.
cute."
Go to sleep.
You better watch
It's okay.
It's just a
It's okay,
it's just
it's
a
okay.
tantrum. You'll get over it.
Thanks, guys. I'm glad you're here for me.
Yeah.
Well, I do it there sometimes,
Yeah.
so I know how to deal with these things.
One of these days, I'm going to backhand you on the show, and no one's going to know it's coming.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay. You guys heard it. It's okay.
Yeah,
I got permission to smack him whenever I want.
Fuck out of you after that, though. You're gonna be hugged to death after that. You don't want to do that
Well,
shit.
our square might go black for a minute. Just a minute. Maybe 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie, but it's a joke on Deadpool.
I've seen it, but I don't recall it that well.
Well, when
That's Stoner's memory going on.
he gave her a ring and she's like, "Oh, this makes 5 mini line bots. That gets you 3 minutes." He's like, "Well, what are we gonna do with the other 2 minutes and 48 seconds or 47 seconds?" He's like, "What? Cuddle?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it means short sex, long cuddle. Considering
Well, I saw a meme today. If you do it in doggy style and it takes like 2 minutes,
it is not 14 minutes in dog years.
Absolutely, I
Bullshit.
think that's fair. I saw that meme just today.
Yeah.
It's on Instagram, bro.
And it made great sense.
Bullshit.
I'm down. All right, it's all good.
Hey,
That would make
Prof,
it like an hour and 40 minutes.
It doesn't matter. What?
It's not your fault that you can't last very long at sex, and it's a race anyways, man. It's the first one done wins. Just tell yourself
Oh,
that.
bullshit. It's the first 1 to 3. First 1 to 3.
Fuck, I'll bet you he'll still knock out 3 faster. So sure, you can do that. That's gonna be one hell of a night. He'll be exhausted after that 45 seconds, but
we call her Tap Out.
That's not my name. Only on Discord.
Has anybody tried the 1311 flower cycle?
Nope.
I have.
I ran it on the last grow in the last half of flower, probably the last 4 weeks, and I really liked it. I mean, I got it from Ross to Jeff listening to his podcast, and it did pop. Like if you're looking for color, you're going to get a lot more color on that 1311 than you would on the 1212. If you're wanting those colors to really pop, the autumn colors.
So forgive my ignorance, but is it like 13 on and 11 off, or the other way around?
No, it's 13 off, 11 on.
Okay. And it makes a difference in the color. I always thought that it was like getting those colder temps near the last couple of weeks was where the color came from, but
Well, it will, because your lights aren't on to heat the room for an extra hour, so they're off for longer, right? So there's 13 hours of darkness. There's more hours of lights off than there are lights on, so it's going to be colder for the majority of the time. I mean, unless you have your HVAC set to heat up the room. I mean,
yeah, actually, I've got a mini split, and I can program it for 2 temperatures, which is what I do. So it's so I'm able to control the day and the night. So
for you, but also, yeah, on top of the I don't know. I mean, I can't think of the words right now to describe what I'm trying to say. On top of the temperature variance, that you have the what light does on its own. So light is one of the things that degrades the trichomes, and it degrades the flower from the light radiation and the intensity and the heat. But we already talked about that. So just more hours where your plant is not assaulted by those things that are degrading it are going to morphologically change the plant too.
Oh yeah.
I bet you I think the first time I heard of this light cycle was from DJ Short. He's a breeder from, well, I don't know if he was born in Michigan, but he's around these parts now. And he says he does that on purpose, and he runs his grow that way because he wants it to the phenotypical expressions. So the things that the plants, if you pop seeds from the same strain, the things that make those same seeds, those same plants stand out from each other, the phenotypical expressions are way more pronounced under less light. So he does it for that reason, so that when he's pheno hunting, that's way more pronounced, and he can pick them out easier when he's doing his pheno hunts. He thinks that the plant expresses its I don't know how, that's what he uses. The phenotypical expression is greater under the lower light intensity. And with these higher LED lights, you know what I mean? It's probably likely that most people are blasting too much light anyway. So to take an hour off and to reduce your DLI like that is probably going to improve your flower.
So
for the average grower, for sure.
Yeah. So would there be a point of no return? Like, okay, if we did 11-13, let's try 10-14.
I can only assume so. I haven't done the experiment. I run 12-12. I tried the 13-11, and I prefer 12-12. I got a little bit of the phenotypical, but you also lose yield when you do that, which makes sense. You know, your plant, that's the real food. When people say I'm fertilizing my plant and I'm feeding it, no, you're not. Your plant's eating the light. That's the real food. You're just giving it, it's the minerals when you're giving it food. Minerals is like when we eat a vitamin, you know, that's not our main food.
Yeah, actually, their main food, I believe, is CO2.
CO2 and yep. Well, they need the light so that they can and the CO2, and they take those and they make the sugars out of that.
Yeah. Photosynthesis.
Yeah, my yield did drop on that light cycle.
Yeah, so that's where, you know what I mean? It's like I want to make the most high quality bud I can, but I don't want to lose all my yield in the process. So you have to just in these tests when you're trying to, and I still encourage people to try it because for sure I want to know if there's a better way of doing it. For sure, let me know because I want to do it. But I'll try them, and if I get worse results, I'm not going to keep doing them.
Well, there's a lot of times being rambled off in a chat, and I was just actually commenting on that. That's kind of cool. There's
A lot of people,
I'm trying different hours and stuff.
different light times and
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So Opie, then when you were talking earlier about the colors, that's what you were more suggesting is the flavor, the terpenes, and so on.
No, I was actually talking about like it makes like the autumn colors or your purples and whatnot. They did pop more pronounced than they did on the 1212. Just, I mean, like the color of the leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Interesting.
And the terps there were more terps, or I'm sorry, not terps. I got a lot of shit going on in my head. There were more trichome. There was more trichome production. I got less yield, but I got better trichome production on the 1113 than I do on the 1212 as well. So it's like a give and take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just, I heard him talk about it, so I tried it, and I'll probably most likely go back to the 1212, but it was an interesting thing to play with.
Cool. Right on.
For sure. That's one of those things that like you need to have, and this is something that I'm not good at, but this is where you need to be really good with numbers and tracking things. Because when you try the new things, you can compare it with, okay, this is what I normally get with the way that I used to do things. Now these are my metrics to compare instead of just eyeballing shit, and that's kind of how I do stuff at home most of the time.
If I think things are going a little longer than I want them to, I'll start cutting back hours. Even if I got to kill the lights for a couple of days just to increase the ripening, I guess you could say. Just to darken them up. So I mean, I've decreased hours doing hurry up the finishing stage after an 8-week plan reach 9 weeks plus.
Yeah,
okay.
I do it every harvest. Honestly, I do 2 days in complete darkness before I actually cut it down.
Yeah, I was doing that for a while, and then sometimes I start kind of getting a little antsy, and I'm just like, fuck it, let me just start
He's gonna reap the shit
Let
out
me
of
just
that
start
plant.
this sooner, But yeah, I was anal about that back when I had a shitload of them.
Yeah.
So are we doing a wake and bake Sunday?
Seems traditional.
Okay, because I'm about to have to go, but I really want to come on the wake and bake and hang out so I can really focus.
Hey, listen, Opie, please know Mrs. Opie's welcome as well. As long as we're not outnumbered, we gotta watch that. We almost got outnumbered tonight, so I'm glad you dropped by, buddy.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all asking me to come on. It was fun, and I've missed you guys like a lot. So
Opie, something to look forward to is actually Sequence from the Bro Show is going to be on with us Sunday. So
cool.
Hell yeah.
The what?
Yeah.
Sequence. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So something to look
Caribou,
forward to.
did you see that? Did you see the dove in flight on that meathead? of yours I popped?
The which story?
I posted a picture of it on Cannabuzz, but one of those meathead crosses like kind of mutated, and it looks really, really cool. It looks like a dove in flight. It was like my last post on Cannabuzz. I did it earlier in the week, but it is the coolest looking little seedling I've ever seen in my life. I love it.
I caught that.
To go back and look for that. I love little weird shit like that. Well, look at the freak show I'm playing with and trying to breed up with that right now. That's gonna be cool.
Hey, I love you guys, man.
Hey, we love you too, man. This is awesome. We haven't been able to see you in far too long, so it means the world to us to get you to see you for a bit. But thank you so much. We love you.
Good to
Hopefully
meet you,
Sunday morning I can actually see you, or you can see me.
Hey, that would be awesome too, man. Like, yeah, it's so great to hear from you, brother. It really is.
All right, man. Later. Nice meeting you, Spartan.
Nice meeting you too, buddy.
See you Sunday. Bye.
I might be able to get
I've
my
heard
ass
so
over
much and I've never met him.
Oh, dude, Opie's a fucking awesome, man.
That's what he keeps saying. He seems like cool people.
Yeah, absolutely. He's when we first started out there, the way he was always filming from on location from somewhere, him and Mrs. Opie. The first one he was working just like tonight, and you know, but he was there on the show. We're just like, wow, no, that's dedication. And then after that, like him and Mrs. Opie showing up at like the lake or the park or whatever, and it's fucking cold outside at this point. You got to remember, it's like December, January. I'm sure he lives a hell of a lot farther south than I do, where the winters aren't quite as bad, but still fucking colder than what I'd like to be doing at like, what is it, like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday kind of thing. Dedication. I love them.
I would curl up and die in those temperatures.
Yeah, I'm not.
Just give up.
You notice he finally took his hoodie off?
Yeah, well, it's
Like-
fucking
90 degrees outside. He finally took his hoodie off. I can almost see some skin. I'm just saying.
cold-blooded. Cold-blooded.
So listen, 379 subscribers were moving in on 420, and it was just like 344 just the other day, man. 379. That's not even 40 more to go.
Yay!
That's a lot of crazy people out there following us.
That's because it's like a cool place. They can sit and get stoned, not have to listen to people, but if they listen, it's funny. Or they might accidentally learn something about growing.
That usually purely by accident, though.
I don't know. You guys have
There's
said a
always
lot of
something to
shit
learn
tonight.
about growing.
No, I mean, for a Friday night, I actually learned some shit. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know, it's cool.
Okay, and you know what? Like enough's enough. But there was one more thing I wanted to throw out there. We were talking about re-vegging outdoors, and I was curious, like with June the 21st being the longest day of the year, when would plants normally go into flower when they're outdoors, if not June the 21st? The reason I'm asking is I recall one year I had a number of plants in the greenhouse, and I had one. It was 12 feet tall. It was June the 20th, and I walked in on June the 21st, and there were seeds everywhere. Like just in 24 hours on June the 21st, boom, it happened, and I went, holy shit! And it just made me think, well, okay, when does cannabis start to flower outdoors? That's my question.
The answer is that it's different depending on each strain, man. I've seen, like, indoor we have control of the light cycle. We decide when we put them into flower. We decide that it's only going to get 12 hours of light, and it kind of forces them to start to flower. And we have an idea of, oh, this is an 8-week strain. This is a 12-week strain. But the interesting thing is when you try to translate that to outside, it doesn't fucking compute, man. It's like I've had, in my experience, I've had strains that I considered fast finishers that wouldn't start fucking flowering until like September. So what was a fast finisher inside didn't really equate to an outside fast finisher because it wouldn't fucking flip until much later than other varieties. And then I've seen vice versa too. One that I had to take like 9-10 weeks inside would flip in early, or not early, but like it would flip early, but it would be like in the middle of August, which is pretty early for most outdoor in my experience where I live. And but generally speaking, I'm looking to see that all my plants are showing that they're flowering by the end of August, beginning of September. That's usually where I want to see that happen. And if they're not, I'm starting to get antsy and be like, what in the hell is going on with this thing?
Yeah, for
Actually,
sure.
that's a great question. Thanks, Rick. Because I was curious about that myself. Because I was thinking I would want to harvest clones probably about mid-August would have been my guess.
Okay.
Thank you for that info.
Yeah, because we did be doing their walk down and getting close, but I think possibly close enough that they wouldn't fuck up if you were to stick them back in 18 or even a 16 for a bit, then 18 after a while.
But that's another thing too, is some people get crazy how they want to put these plants out early. Like I've put out plants, you know, I wouldn't put a plant outside if it was a photo period plant. I wouldn't put it outside in the ground before June 1st. That's when I'll put it in the ground. I've had too many late frosts come in room crops. And I see a lot of people putting plants as early as like first week of May. The problem and what they don't realize is that then now you got to add supplemental light because we're just not even getting enough light at that time. And your plants are going to flip on you. So not only are you worried about frost, now you have to worry about supplementing light. One of the tricks that I used to do is if I knew I was going to veg up some plants to put outside, I wouldn't veg them under my 18-hour normal because I don't think there's a time, any time of the year, where Michigan gets 18 hours of light. I don't think we even ever do. So I'm looking at, like, I'll just look up Farmer's Almanac. We get them here. I don't know if you guys have that available to you, but I can go down to the Tractor Farm and Fleet, get me a Farmer's Almanac, look up when the last frost date danger is for me, so I know of a target date to look for, and work it out from there. And it's pretty easy. But yeah, I mean, I've tried to. I know like Mendo Dope shows how they start their plants in like January, and they have a whole process, and they grow these giant trees. But you have to realize that makes it makes it super difficult to work on that plant if you let them get that big. So me, it's like I'm pretty lax about it. It's like I'll put a small little clone outside in June. I don't care. I'll put a small little clone outside in July and still pull a pound off of it. You know what I mean? But it'll be manageable and it'll be far less work for me.
Did you show her a picture of Theo or Loki when
deal
he was
with
younger?
the giant, get on a ladder. I mean, just imagine the
Oh my
amount of
God.
work
Sid,
that you add by
I
adding
did that
a ladder
last
to
year.
things.
Yeah.
When you add a ladder, then you have to go up a ladder, work a little small space, and then go down a ladder. It's just
Yep.
She got a sensitive
And it's
heart.
poopy. I'm
yeah.
4'7".
Yeah, it's
I'm 4'7". Getting on a ladder for 6.5 foot tree was hilarious. It was the only tree I ever wanted to do, but
Okay.
I had to do it.
I was gonna say, if you ever want to do it again, a life-changing thing for you is those stilt
Oh my
things that
Lord.
the drywallers use. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you get those on and walk around and be like walking around the plant, and that's what you want.
No shit, because like
Cold in
it
the
was just
background
like, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing up here? This is insanity. But I loved her. She was beautiful, and I just had to do it once to say that I've grown a fucking marijuana tree.
Ash,
I agree with you. I've done the same
Sid,
thing.
you're literally taking her.
It was lots of fun, but no, I'm good now.
I always think it's cool to like craft things out of the stalks. You know, you get these big giant stalks. I'm like, oh, that's got to be a walking stick, or that's going to be this or that. And it's like, I want to make a hat rack, or, you know, I always think that was cool when people do extra stuff to it.
There was one point in time where I was saving all my stocks because we had the intent of the ex-wife was looking at how to turn them into fiber to make like cotton or whatever with, or like hemp fiber with. And then we end up with like a couple 5-gallon buckets just fucking packed with stems everywhere from, you know, twigs like 6 inches to, you know, 3-4 feet. And then I think they ended up just going like kind of a combination of in the burn pile and in the compost, because it was like got to the point where it's like, yeah, no, it's a really great idea in theory, but maybe another day.
I took, I think, 10 seconds to look that up, so I don't know much about it. But what I was seeing was like they're throwing the stalks in water and just beating the shit out of them until they broke up into fucking. And I was like, wow, that's way more work than I'm willing to fucking put into it. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's, you know, if it was as simple as that and you just beat them up and then it's, you got your fiber strands and then, you know, you just, you know, that's it. But
Yeah.
no, that's just the beginning of it. It's just, I don't have the kind of thing. I don't do fine detailed work very well. I'm the guy that if you've got a whole shitload of work that you need to get done fast and you don't really care if it looks particularly nice, I'm the guy you call, right? I'll get it done for you. I promise. Just, you know.
Yeah, fast and neat don't go together, man.
I just, yeah, no, it's that whole, it gets that whole ADD thing, right? Just go, get it done so you can get on to the next thing.
Oh, I like this idea. Mr. Green Thumb 420 in chat says, put a big crystal in the ground, in the soil, and then plant over top of it. And when you harvest the plant, you'll have the roots holding on to the crystal and make a staff out of it, like a wizard staff. That's a cool idea.
That is a brilliant idea. That's like some serious Gandalf stuff. And I've even actually, fuck yeah, man. Dude, I've got the Gandalf pipe. I've got like that freaking old hat I had around somewhere. That would almost be fucking badass. Fuck yeah, man. You can partner like twins.
Hey, I was actually talking with Brandon, who owns the hydroponic store in town here, and he was describing a pipe to me, and finally he just gave me a website, and I went and checked it out. Anyway, this is a pipe that is it's Jamaican, and I think the bowl is maybe a coconut, yeah, he was describing it, and then I watched a couple of YouTube videos on it, and they describe it as a way of vaping. Don't know too much about it, but it sounded interesting. Anyway, he's got a couple in the store now, so I wanted meant to check them out when I go in there.
You should get one just so I can try it. This just sounds like a lot of fun to me. I'll be a
I've
good
seen
friend
Rasta
to you.
Bob talk about it on Embracing Organics. How he can make what the hell is it called? Damn.
Yeah, it's just on the
like a
tip of my
chillum
tongue.
kind of. I don't know, but yeah, super interesting stuff, and I'd like to check it out. Chalice, I think he called
Yeah,
it.
I think you're right. I think it's a chalice or something like that. But speaking of Embracing Organics, I laughed so hard. This last Friday, Gandhi Grower was on. Well, last night, if you watched, he came on, and I guess he's riding a bike, and he rode the bike way down wherever the hell he went. Didn't say hello, nothing. Went to, and then got to the end, smoked a joint, got back on his bike, and fucked off home, I guess. And that was it. That was his whole performance for that night. Oh, God. Too funny.
Yeah, I missed that, man. I didn't see that show last night. That's fucking.
No,
Was he like videotaping the whole time that he was going all the way down and smoking? And oh, it was on his head. Nice.
Like he had a GoPro. but
Okay.
so it was dark out, and he was riding his bike on the sidewalk, and of course there's the street lights, and so as you're going along, you can see a bit of his reflection or his shadow, and then of course it disappears, and then the next street light comes along, and you see his shadow. Too fucking funny. And then he gets off the bike, smokes a joint, gets back on the bike, and goes home.
That's awesome, man. People don't realize how like it's so like the shows that people don't have anything on it, like they're blocking and you can't see their screen at all. It's like, man, it's hard to keep people's focus, man. You gotta have. It's so entertaining to watch people's little squares, you know, and see what they got going on. If somebody's talking and you lose interest, you got something else to hold your attention, you know.
Yeah. No, he is really witty. He's got quite a sense of humor, that guy. Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah.
Damn, I've been enjoying the show so much. I've been completely ignoring chat, man. That's how you know you guys are good.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with both. It really is.
Yeah.
I forget about it all the time when I'm visually looking and being on the screen. I get it. I try.
As a matter of fact, Spartan, Dog Doctor, I thought he was asking you a question, but I didn't quite understand it, and
good girl.
Maybe if he wouldn't mind asking it again.
Oh, I think I already
Maybe
answered
I'm
it.
wrong.
You're good. I think I already answered it in chat.
Oh, okay.
You being a poo head and you don't want to be on the screen?
Unless he made another, unless he had another question, but I did answer one of his questions.
Yeah, I honestly, I can't remember. I just thought I saw a question there, and of course, too stoned to bring it to anybody's attention.
He was asking, he had some higher nighttime temperature or higher lights out temperatures than his lights on temperatures, because where he's living at, the temperatures get really hot during the day, and he has the lights out at that time. And he was wondering if it was all right. And it was like a 5 or 6 degree difference. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. I think it was like 82 was the highs in the night with the lights off. And then when the lights were on, the highest it got was 77. And he was wondering if that was all right. I think he said 50% humidity too. And I said, yeah, that's totally good numbers. I would be fine with that.
The temperature was higher when the lights were, the temperature was 82 when the lights were off?
Yes. So with LEDs, and if you live in a hot climate, I can 100% see that happening. If you run your lights when it's nighttime outside, when it's cooler out, and you're running LED lights, you absolutely, I think you hit 10 those 77, I think is what he said his temps were getting. And then it's not difficult to believe if you don't have enough cooling or whatever in the spot, temperatures getting up to 82 or higher outside. That'd be enough to heat up the room to that temperature with the lights off.
Okay, I'm sorry, Spartan, but you said that was okay.
Yeah, in fact, the one effect that's going to happen is if you have a hotter or a warmer temperature during your lights off during flowering, it's going to reduce your stretch too. So there's actual like a benefit of it if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. Some people like stretch, some people don't at all. It depends on your situation.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the things I've learned recently. That is the reduction of stretch. The heat at nighttime is a technique. Foliar feeding silica is another technique. And then you can stack these things to try, all of them will slow down stretch, but you stack them all together and theoretically you'd think you could pretty much put the brakes on stretch.
You prompted another question from me, but I don't want to open a can of worms, but it's about leaf stripping, and the comparison of do you well, I guess, like I said, open a can of worms. Do you strip leaves or do you not? But if you do you strip a whole shitload at once and then give it a bunch of stress and then let it recover, or do you just strip leaves?
I actually did the experiment with 2 strains this time around, and I went heavy defoliation and I went mid defoliation, and mid defoliation definitely worked out better. I think you definitely, huh?
When did you do the defoliation?
I went I was pretty much constantly defoliating the plant.
Okay.
Yeah, just to keep I would make sure I had complete penetration through the whole plant. You know what I'm saying? So like even light came through to the bottom of the pot. You know, so you can imagine how much light I had coming through. And then the other one, I just attacked anything that was covering a node and leaving.
It looked like a Christmas tree.
No, I had topped it, but the buds were definitely bigger, denser, and obviously, due to what I can imagine would be leaving more of the leaf on there to absorb more of the photosynthesis. So basically, the sugar leaf isn't enough, even with just a few fan leaves, to make the bud fully photosynthesize or take advantage of the light. It's kind of wasted light, I guess you could say. You know, there's not enough. So the more leaf I left on there and only took what I needed to, the better outcome I got. But I kind of had a feeling that might have been the way it was going to work out, but it was something I wanted to see. Whether I sacrificed one plant or not, I just wanted to do it.
You didn't sacrifice shit.
No, I mean, the other one came out fine. I mean, it came out all right, but you could see a tremendous difference between the two. So this next time around, I'm going to be more cautious of not defoliating as much, but definitely continuing to allow light to penetrate to each node, like I've been pretty adamant about.
Do you lollipop?
If there's, I mean, if there's no point of like having a stem this long at the bottom when only have one bud on top of it, you know, if it's way at the bottom. So yeah, I do lollipop, you know, there's no point in that being there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's situational. I do both. I do leaf strip and I don't. Well, I always do at least a little bit, and I always lollipop.
Yeah.
In a work situation and when I'm feeding synthetically, and I am when I say work situation, I'm talking high plant density. I'm talking, I don't care how many number of plants you have, but I want to see high density. Like when I'm looking through, even if it's just stems, I see a lot of them. What we do is we have 3-gallon pots in our final pots, and we have, I believe it's six and a 5x5 to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And in those situations, when you have high plant density, it's absolutely required, in my opinion, to remove a lot of fan leaves. Otherwise,
yeah, no, I agree with you there.
Yeah, and doing so strategically at the right times will get you huge yields. That's the whole point of putting them in so thick, growing them so thick and together like that, is to get the bigger yield. It's easier to get, you know, a pound off of 6 plants than off of 2 plants. So that's the idea there. Now at home, I'm under a plant count restriction, so it behooves me to grow big plants and not large numbers. So that kind of makes me go in the opposite direction. So I'm not putting big plant density. I'm growing big plants. I'm only growing 4 per 4x4, and I'm also growing organically, which is a huge thing. You're right to say that when you take off, or a leaf is what's, you know, grabbing the light, and that's feeding the plant. But when you're feeding synthetically, you can kind of make up for that when you remove a leaf, you're literally removing its mineral stores. That's where it's storing its minerals. When they do those leaf sample tests, they're looking at the minerals that are in there. So when you remove one of those, you're removing its storage. But you can give it right back what it needs in a synthetic, because you're giving it plant available nutrition. You're giving it its vitamins right back to it as soon as it needs it. You can pour it right back on its roots, right? Organically, it takes a minute for that. When you're trying to feed it something, it takes a minute for that to break down, and they can't get it right away. So the plant really suffers yield wise when you do try to treat it the same way and you're feeding it differently. So organically, I really don't recommend a big leaf strip. But like what you're saying, Prophet, you should leaf strip it enough to get the good airflow and benefit your plant that way. But it's not going to be, it's going to be, what you call it, mid whatever strip. I'm probably close to what you're saying with that mid strip. That's kind of where I'm
mid stripping.
Yeah.
Not quite everything, but most of it. Not quite all of it.
Yeah.
Like the big fan leaves.
So Spartan, do you throw your fan leaves and stuff like that out, everything you're defoliating right on top? Because you're doing a SIP system, right?
Yeah, I am doing a SIP system, but I do not do that. Well, okay. So I have 2 plants that I do that, and that's in a tent by themselves. They're actually, it's cocoa too in there, but it's a living cocoa that I'm doing just because I was told I couldn't do it, like it wasn't possible.
I've heard of it being done a couple of times.
All right, cool.
I think,
Yeah, so cocoa's totally done.
Tony Rockefeller, you said you did that once or twice, right? The living cocoa, or am I
What's
mistaken?
that?
Did you do the living cocoa before? Like
no,
living,
I just got some. No, I just got some of that Coco Loco. I've been just messing around, trying different mixes and seeing what kind of works.
Yeah, Coco Loco. That's what I've got in those 2 beds that I got. It's Coco Loco is just cocoa mixed with worm castings.
Yeah, Abolish actually, he DM'd me and told me, he's like, that's a smart move. I guess he uses it. He's been using it for.
Oh yeah, he's the one that told me about it. That's where I heard about Coco Loco.
I
just actually potted some plants in it the other day, so we'll see. So far, everything looks great.
I just want to jump in for a minute and say goodnight.
Well, good night.
It's great.
I'm going to head out. It was nice seeing everybody.
Night,
And
Sissy.
Hey,
take
before
it
you
easy.
go,
Yes.
Good.
I've been admiring that picture behind you, but I can't.
Yes.
Oh, what is it?
I try to steal it every time I'm there.
It is just, it's just like an oil painting. My husband bought it for me probably when we first got together. I said I liked the texture painting, and I said I was getting right into like real paintings instead of just, something underneath a piece of glass. So yeah, he bought that for one of my birthdays or something, and I love it. It's got like purple and shit in it, and yeah, like my sister said, everybody tries to steal it from me. It is really pretty. Thank you.
Good to see you.
It goes wonderful with my wonderful plant here.
Fuck, I thought she'd never leave. Oh, you're still here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice try. I caught you, Uncle Rick. Bye.
Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
I'm probably gonna bounce out as well. I got to kind of get up early, so I should probably go to bed.
Good to see you.
She wants to say goodbye, so I guess I'll hold off for a second. But yeah, it's great to see you guys. Chat, love you guys. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. I'm waiting
I'll
for
be holding
you.
you to that, Prophet. I expect that message coming in tomorrow because you said you'll talk to us all tomorrow. I'll expect that message.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I am a stoner.
I'm drinking like no fucking way.
9% of my
I'm
time,
drinking water now.
I don't actually charge my phone, and it's on like constant, like 15%.
See, he's already got an excuse for not messaging me tomorrow.
Yeah, no, seriously, his phone is always fucking dead. I had to fix the charger with medical tape just so he could be on Discord.
I swear to God, my phone
Yeah,
is
that's
so
where the
dead.
battery goes.
I mean, I'm waiting for it to die. I got a brand new one on standby. I'm like that
He
guy
needs a
that
new
runs
phone.
his sneakers right to the ground until he gets a new pair. Same thing with my phone. I gotta run into the ground before I get a new pair.
I think I
New
can
one.
see your toes through these sneakers. I'm just saying.
This close. I got another like couple weeks.
Have a good night, you guys.
Later, guys. Caribou.
Nice to
Everybody.
meet you.
Uncle Rick,
Crazy Pop
Spartan.
Mom's kid.
Crazy Pop Mom. Crazy Pop Mom's kids. Sparkle Gummy Bear. Something.
Tell it one more time.
I'll
Take
say
care.
hi to your person for your profit.
What's her name? One more time.
Lady Glitter Sparkles.
Lady Glitter Sparkles.
DP. Stony. I'll be talking to you.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
I'm gonna go rape him.
Please
Good luck.
Peace out, bro.
call the police.
Oh, shit.
God damn.
Holy shit, what a night. Sometimes it really goes, we've been 2.5 hours already. Holy crow.
Yeah, time flies. It definitely.
You know, it's funny. Every time I look at I try to get into, oh, damn, who is it? He runs those 5-6 hour podcasts constantly. Help me with his name. Fumi. Oh, and we got Red in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, Fumi. He's got these marathon podcasts. They're just like wow. But because I can only take so much. But he's an interesting guy to listen to, and he's got a good sense of humor too. How you doing, Red?
Cheers, Red.
Hey, cheers, everybody. What's going on?
Hey, Red.
What's up, Red? Good to see you, buddy.
Great to see you,
That-
man.
Justin, how's my audio? I was like fiddling with everything because I couldn't get any sound coming out, and lo and behold, my headphones weren't plugged in. So I moved everything on all my. So I don't know. Give me some of these in chat, I suppose, if you guys can hear me. Good? All good? Awesome. Cheers, everybody. What's going on tonight? I was popping around and everybody said jump on. I had to hook up my audio equipment anyways for some work I have to do. So, yeah, let's get into it. What's up?
Right on. Hey, since you mentioned it, Red, I'm curious. Again, technology, it just overwhelms me. But headphones, like
You and me both, brother.
How does it work? How do headphones work? As a matter of fact, I got some kind of earbuds, and I put them on, and I couldn't hear myself. Is this how it works?
You couldn't hear yourself, or you could hear yourself?
I couldn't hear myself.
With your microphone?
No, with my earbuds. Not my microphone. I don't have a microphone.
Yeah. You mean when you're talking on your phone or something? Or when you're here?
I tried it out on a podcast.
On a podcast. Oh, yeah. You can't hear
Zoom, like here, right here and now. And I put them on, and I couldn't hear myself.
Your ears were plugged, Uncle Rick. No, I really don't know. I don't know. I can hear myself right now. If I couldn't hear myself, I would be talking really weird, like similar to like somebody that might be hearing impaired or something, because that's just what happens. So I'd imagine that's kind of something that you were experiencing, not being able to like hear yourself talk. That is, you should normally be able to hear yourself talk when hooked up like through a audio connecting device like a microphone or something. At least it helps the situation. You don't have to be connected that way, but it definitely helps you understand what you're actually talking about. You already put me down a weird rabbit hole, Uncle Rick. Holy shit. What is like, how do headphones work? Dude, I don't know how headphones work. Magnets? Holy shit.
Welcome to the Caribou Heart Show.
To be honest, I didn't think it was going to be Uncle Rick that stumped Red. I didn't stop.
Officially
Has Red a grow
stumped.
question on the show yet? I don't think anybody's asked
Officially
Red a grow
stumped.
question.
I don't think I've ever been asked to grow. I do grow cannabis, everybody.
Right? I heard you grow really good cannabis.
Hey, it's working. Hello, it's working.
It is.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear myself.
There you go.
talk.
You sound.
Where on
I'm
the
hearing.
hand can you hear yourself?
You have a better tone. Your tone sounds like it's coming from this part of the hand instead of this part of the hand.
Okay, you know what? I deserve that.
Sounds good,
Hey,
Rick.
so there's nothing, there's no little seedlings behind you there. You got everything out in the garden. And
Everything's outside. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's in the garden. Yeah,
It's out
I've been trying to get my crops planted. I got a lot of stuff in the ground. I have corn sprouting. I have that's in the ground. Hopefully there's some beans sprouting up with that. I did plant a lot of beans with the corn, but I have volunteer beans from last season already popping up. Not really what I'm going for, but still I'm happy that they're coming up. I have some watermelon in the ground. I have pumpkin in the ground. Don't have my cannabis in the ground, but it's all hardened off, ready to go in the ground.
All this rain's been fucking killing it too, man.
I mean, I really wish I was in the ground for today's rain, most importantly, because everything's just gonna be coming up to the surface, working it. But I didn't get a chance. You know, there's like 7 good size holes I got to dig to get my pots in there, and of course I got to do amending. And it's gonna be a couple hours of a job. I just haven't been in the garden dedicated for a couple hours. I had to drive out to the west. I'm definitely not complaining. A lot of good, awesome job opportunities, but work is
tell me
definitely
about that west side, dude. Tell me about that shit. How's
me
that
busy.
farm over there, dude? How's that look out there?
So I didn't get a chance to go out to the farm. I'm still not sure if they have their farm license up and going yet. The last I heard was supposed to be something going on in Muskegon, which wouldn't be too far from the Grand Haven location, but they have just converted their Exit 9 Agromed into New Standard. That officially was opened up as New Standard today. That's in Nunica. Right when you basically get off of 96 in Nunica at Exit 9, you get off the highway, and there, lo and behold, is the Exit 9 Provisioning Center, which I believe might be adult use. The Grand Haven store, unfortunately, is only medical at the moment. But believe it or not, the audio work that I have to do is for the stores. Right now, when you call New Standard in Hazel Park, you get my voice saying, you know, hello, thank you for calling New Standard Hazel Park, blah, blah, blah. You know, click here for store hours and all of that. And so I'm basically doing the same for the Grand Haven store. I was out there earlier this week for training. So I was, I put together a little Cannabis 101 for the staff. I'm doing it again this Wednesday. I'm one of a couple company-wide trainers. We just got a license in Menominee, way up there near the Wisconsin border. Uncle Rick, we're not even on this part of the hand anymore, man. We're in this part of the hand now, and we're way the fuck over here near Wisconsin, all the way on the border. There's a handful of licensees on that side, and fortunately, the company that I work for was fortunate enough to grab one of those licenses. Just really cool. So maybe I'll get shipped up there to do some training. I actually have my fingers crossed that they will send me up that way to do some training. I'd love to travel north. I was supposed to stop off on the west side of the state and just kind of camp out and stay the night, but we had some bad weather coming through, and my partner wasn't really able to make it out there with me, so we just pitched a tent here in the backyard and did some camping when I got home. Fortunately, you can get side to side, one side of the state to the other side of the state in about 3 hours. So an 8-hour workday had me out to the other side of the state, across state, and back home. So wasn't too bad. Blue Kiss Gardens, Exit 9 is where he texted you from, Spartan Grown. Right off there, 96 Exit 9.
I told her it's a small mitten.
Totally is. Absolutely, man. I had a nice energetic lead off for some stuff. Oh, I got 3 new happy plants in the garden. Well, sort of happy.
Are they? Tell me about them.
Well, I almost want to go into my political rant on this one.
Oh, dude.
Has anybody gotten a chance to check out Medical Mondays and or our last few episodes of Michigan Bros Grow Show? Spartan, I don't know if you brought this up at all. We've got
I don't know if I did or didn't. I don't think I did.
We've got large cannabis companies putting caregiver regulations to the test, and vice versa, kind of some backlash, boycotts, and things going on. I work in commercial cannabis, and I sell products by a lot of these people, and I am also a caregiver. it's an incredible kind of caveat that I'm kind of stuck in. I'm all for patient access, right? If somebody comes in looking for something specific, I'm going to sell them that specific item that they know that we have on the shelf that is effective for them, regardless of this boycott. Unfortunately, my whole thing is patient access, period. Now, if somebody's coming in looking for a product, I might not necessarily suggest these people's products, although I might not have suggested their products in the first place. I'm going to suggest the products where I know is being sourced, I know is sustainable, things like that. Beautiful company here in Ann Arbor, Apothecary. I'm always suggesting their products. I suggest New Standards products all the time. We grow the stuff in Beaverton Farms. Of course, I'm going to suggest those products. My biggest rant is about there's a whole other market aside from the caregiver market that's really kind of flooding, we'll call it the black market or whatever is, I guess, taking profits from some of these larger companies, and that maybe out of state influence and maybe some of the surplus, that we see millions of pounds in Oregon, California, Colorado, who knows, maybe there's others.
Well, let me just back that up a little bit, Red, is that's the narrative that's getting fed to us, but there's no substantiated proof of any of that, and they're not taking any profits away from those big corporations in reality, because the people that are buying those products are never going to be in a dispensary buying those products.
Exactly.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah, there's a big understanding that they're also not grasping the fact that I think that they're just oversized for their britches, right? The pants are too big, man. They're wearing Janko jeans. They need to be cut up in some skinny legs, because honestly, they're over manufacturing. We're not allowed to push out of state sales yet, so we're stuck. Our market is Michigan, and maybe some people who come from tourism, right? That's our market. So to grow as much as you can possibly produce at whatever kind of square footage that you have, it's unrealistic to say you're going to sell everything, because we have such a limited market. Maybe if it was worldwide, you can ship it, have an internet business and do that, grow as much as you can possibly sustain. But you're over manufacturing, you're having a surplus because you can't get rid of it. It doesn't mean like you can have as many clients as you want, you're still not going to be able to get rid of this stuff. So a huge example is the company that I work for. They're not buying into this stuff. They own dispensaries all across the state. They own Class C grow operations. Their fight isn't against caregivers. They're similar to Spartan. Their caregiver, my company I work for, similar to Spartan, is caregiver backed. They came up from caregiver. In fact, it's funny is every company in Michigan has to have a caregiver on their team for the first 2 years. So this entire thing is just, it's hypocrisy at its best, honestly.
Well, that's really why they got the response that they have, because I mean, it's just like, can you be more of a piece of shit?
And honestly, I love whoever it was who compared it. Like Abolish put a post up and somebody compared the greed to Nestle, and I love that, because that is the essence of this greed. It is Nestle. They're stealing fresh water in Michigan when people in Flint don't even have it. Like, this is the type of greed that is going on in Michigan, right? And so somebody compared it, and I was like, yes, that's the comparison right there. You don't care about people suffering whatsoever. Let them suffer more. Like, this is what I see, right? So I'm looking at it. So mind you, and this is all working back to the clones that I got. Okay, I'm still on the story. I have new genetics in the garden. I love it. The company that I work for, who I sell their products every day, they are not afraid of the caregiver, the little man, even having the same cuts. My friend who owns the company just gave me, I'm not going to list the genetics that he gave me, but he gave me like 3 or 4 genetics that I sell from the shelf that they grow at their cultivation facility, with no fear that I'm going to outcompete, outperform, outsell, or do anything with his genetics except for pay my own bills and help my own patients. And he understands the caregiver market. He understands the reality that is, I'm not a threat at a caregiver level to any of them if I'm following the caregiver guidelines. If you're not following caregiver guidelines, you're a threat, in which case you might as well be importing from out of state. you might as well be having all of these other kind of businesses and stuff like that. But that's my only piece. I had some awesome new genetics, and I will talk about the genetics that I did just put in my garden because that's a separate topic. Genetics, but I got some nice hippie crashers. I love the name of hippie crashers too, because well, it's wedding cake and Kush mints. So it's like
the hippie crashers is the one I'm really fucking interested in.
It comes off like pineapple, dude. And I can't smell pineapple since I've had COVID. I had a couple weird smell issues now. One of them is like I can't really smell pineapples. Unfortunately, I can't smell the terrible taste of asparagus urine anymore, or the taste of
specifically the urine after eating asparagus. That's specific.
So I've noticed that like my pee doesn't stink when I eat asparagus anymore, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense because my pee is always stunk when I eat asparagus. So I looked this up, like, is there a metabolite that can change or something? And supposedly, like, everybody's pee is going to stink, but some people don't actually smell it. There's actually like a fragrant hormone or something that causes you not to smell stuff. So like some switch got turned on or off, and I can no longer smell this. I did lose my smell when I had COVID.
That's a positive then.
It's a positive,
well,
dude. I can eat
my,
as
my
much
shit
asparagus
doesn't
as I
stink.
want. Shit shouldn't stink, Uncle Rick. Not at all. Have yourself a healthy diet, man.
Oh,
Too much
God.
McDonald's makes your shit stink.
Oh.
Guys, that's my political rant for the night. Otherwise, I'm drinking some herbal tea. It's not herbal tea. What am I talking about? It's green tea with probiotics.
Well, just back to your rant for a minute, Red.
I need to smoke some herb.
What I see is these lobbyists are. What they're doing is they're trying to take the personal aspect out of the whole caregiver program, and that is a big loss. Yeah.
There's a lot of products that caregivers can manufacture, because of lack of testing requirements, which some may argue is a bad thing, but you know what? It is a good thing. There hasn't been, aside from the whole popcorn lung thing that was going around based on the poor manufacturing practices of vaporizers, basic flour and stuff like that. If you know your grower and you get a chance to like tour their cultivation facility and you hear them talk about types of pesticides and stuff they use, and I don't know, there are some people out there that might still be using Eagle 20 and stuff like that, but I doubt it's anybody that's actually concerned for someone's health. So if you have yourself locked into a caregiver that's concerned about your health, there's a good chance that they're not using harmful pesticides. They're concerned about your health. So I think that you have to vet. It's no different than vetting your doctor, right? Go ahead,
yeah,
Sparky.
we don't have to do it. We don't even have to go that far. I'm going to go this far, and I'm going to take it there. I can shit on all their fucking arguments about safety with the fucking history of fucking weed, man.
Endocannabinoid system.
We've had over 100 fucking years of people smoking weed. Is that not enough fucking proof? But you're okay with a fucking vaccine? Only fucking 6 months fucking research. We push that motherfucker through and everybody runs out, and that's okay. No questions asked. But 100 fucking years of smoking an herb with no fucking ill effects.
I go 100,000.
And people still get away. These big corporations still get away scaring the public with how dangerous it's going to be. The fuck off with that shit. It just doesn't even make sense.
See, like,
Right,
Illinois
but these
just
are
cut it all
okay.
out to begin with. They didn't even do a caregiver system, like it's 100%. They just came in with big cannabis in mind because they came in with like, oh, the whole social equity thing. That's bullshit because anybody who got the social equity license to begin with got bought out by big cannabis. Verano came through, disguised as Zen Leaf dispensaries and all this other stuff. And they just got huge recalls on molded product, and they bought out so many of these little dispensaries, and they're putting out inferior product, and all this other stuff. And they're charging out of the roof prices, and they know that A, we can do better. B, we will, but they just cut it out. They give you 5 plant limit, you know what I mean? And you got to, there is no caregiving, you can't even gift it. You can't gift it as a medical patient, but as a rec person, you can gift cannabis all day. But as a medical patient, you can't gift yours because they deem it medicine.
What?
But
Really?
then I can't get,
That sounds so ass backwards, dude.
for my medicine, right? Like they're not
That's
liable
so
for
ass
it.
backwards.
I'm liable for it as a grower, You
I
know,
would
it's
love a
like,
politician to explain to me why they think there should be a law or reason to where I cannot give somebody medicine.
well, that right. But then at the end
I'll
of the
tell
day,
you why,
that
'cause
same
they're not
Just like
company
gonna
is
Facebook getting
liable
funded by
for the
town.
medicine they give me, right? Like, how is that the case? Like, if they're not liable at the end of the day for giving it to me, how are they holding me liable for giving it to somebody else? You know, that
Maybe
if it's helping me, maybe I can help somebody else out.
maybe we have to think of a new name for it. We have to like coin it something different than this term medicine, even though medicine is so good of a name. You know, maybe that's just like everybody's
That's what I'm
thinking
saying.
pharmaceutical about it. You know, maybe we have to coin it something different, like this
Because
really,
that's
really
where
good
it's
thing
getting
for your
cloudy.
body. This is
An
just a
herb.
really, really
It's just
good.
an
Yeah,
herb.
this is a beautiful herb for your body. The cannabis.
It's cannabis, right? Like
It's cannabis.
most of the rec users are using it for medicinal purpose anyway, whether they want to
Sure.
admit it or not, right? You know, so
Every
So
single person
when
that comes
you're-
in. Go ahead, Uncle Rick.
Go ahead. Well, I was just curious, when you're in a, well, I don't know if the right word is dispensary, can you as a patient or maybe a customer get recommendations from the bud tender as far as I want something for sleep, or I want something for pain, or I want something for anxiety? And I'm just curious because I know in Canada, originally it was all set up for the licensed producers to basically provide medicine for the cannabis for the medical patient. Then when it went recreational, it was the same licensed producers that were supplying the medical patients that were supplying the recreational stores. But the irony is, first of all, any recreational store can't be advertised as any form of dispensary. And secondly, the people that work there are not, they cannot make recommendations for anxiety, sleep, or any other disorder. That's the way it works. And the irony is it's the same medicine, the same pot.
Yeah.
Coming
Again, I
from
think
the
it's
same-
it's that term medicinal or medicine. So basically the way, like in theory, yeah, we have to walk on eggshells. In theory, we should be disclosing the fact that we are not medical professionals when talking about any of these things to people. And I do, depending on what the conversation is. But we use the word typically a lot, because there's no exact science on how it's going to help you or make you feel. There's typically this, typically that, and then we use our own personal scenario. It's not illegal for me to say this helps me with anxiety, this helps me with pain, this helps my girlfriend to get to sleep, this helps somebody I know. But I can't say that this is medically tested to cure what, none of those words can, like, is it illegal to use those words? I don't know, but I think that it is against compliance to definitely tell somebody that it's a cure or anything like that. Like, we can probably get sued or otherwise, there could be litigation from something if somebody like doesn't get cured and we tell them that it's right. So like, we have to be very careful on what we suggest. I mean, even on like my Polarity Science show, I have to be very careful that I'm not suggesting or I'm not deliberately, condoning the use of substances, but rather just we're not condoning or we're not suggesting anybody uses anything, but we are discussing about how they may benefit or help. And then, you as a sovereign adult make the decision on whether or not you're going to use it on your own, and hope that things that we may be discussing are influencing in the best of your decision making, not in the worst. So I don't know.
I gotta tell you,
it's
Go
a
ahead.
fine line to draw when you're talking about people's consciousness, medical issues, and things like that. Last thing I want to do is overly suggest something and then turn somebody off of a life-saving medicine, you know, and keep them on something that can be harming them. Pharmaceuticals, for example, they over medicate on cannabis, have a panic attack and freak out, never go back to cannabis again, and then the pharmaceuticals keep them a zombie or whatever. Not zombie is a bad word, but like
Right.
you know what I mean. But, you know, for lack of a better term, it just keeps them. I guess they could have had a better quality of life had they have stuck with cannabis, you know. And I'd hate to take that away from anybody, so I'm very, very careful when I suggestively sell anything. And the most important point that I like to make is that these big companies that are against the caregivers don't even realize that the caregivers still scratching their back. People like me, who it's not about my pocket, man, and it's about the patient's access. And if they come in looking for one of those products, I can't turn them away from it because it's going to help them get to sleep at night. And that's what helps me get to sleep at night. So,
yeah, here.
I think Crazy Pop Mom's been trying to say something for like the last hour.
Yeah, let me break for a second. I got to roll a joint.
Forward and back. Okay. All right, I'm just high.
Why does it sound like I look like I want to say something?
I kept like you kept reaching for your phone or then reaching forward, like leaning forward,
because
like you're gonna.
I'm on the phone, so I have to scroll to see who's talking. And because some of yous I don't recognize your voice yet, and no, I'm not really trying to unmute myself. I was like, oh, I gotta stop doing whatever the hell that is that he thought I was wanting to talk.
I'm always doing that. Middle of somebody talking, I'm always like, wait, I got the mute button ready to get, but I want to unmute it. So wait to mute it more. No. For real, I got to go find weed.
Yes, go find weed. You are too chatty. I'm just kidding.
Oh, but that's what we need, right? It's getting like we're just about 3 hours into the show. So 2.5 hours in, just as everyone's getting in, you bring in someone like Red.
He's gonna get even chattier now.
Going.
He's gonna smoke weed and get even chattier.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, I don't think I've ever seen Red not chatty, and I've seen Red very high. very, very high.
Actually, I've seen him in a couple of shows now, and yeah.
I want to shout out to Abolish. He said that anyone that would like to submit a video testimony on caregivers or what that means to you in Michigan, you can reach out to Country Roots on IG because they're going to do a video montage. That's pretty cool.
You should say that out on your show.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Sorry not to tell you what to do, but you are in Michigan.
Tell him how to live his life, Mom.
No, I definitely appreciate the suggestion. And hopefully I'll remember.
Well, most of the people here end up being on your show or near your show or in the chat. So I'm pretty sure somebody around will remember what we've both said right now.
I hope so. We do have a really good following. It seems like everybody kind of follows around to all the different shows. That's what
absolutely
I love about it. And it's so cool.
Yeah. Okay. You know that I don't go on a rant very often. Okay. So let me just go on a little bit of a rant. Thank you. Okay. So, sometimes I just sit in amazement when I look at the technology in front of me and how I've met all these wonderful people and all the fantastic people in chat. But more on the technology, like I think I was about 5 years old when we got our first television, and it was the talk of we were the kings of the block, and black and white, 2 channels, CBC, CTV, and on a good day you can get KBOS in Bellingham, and now I look at the what's going on, but I'm sorry, I was going somewhere with okay, I'm back on track. So this was on a podcast, and I don't know if it was on it must have been on one of ours, or else I was no. It was I think it was on the Michigan Bros Grow show, or it was a show where I distinctly remember that Red was on it. And the conversation got around to what was the first concert that you ever went to? And it went on like that. And okay, it was the Grow Show and Painted Lady. I distinctly I think her first show was I know that was her favorite show was Pink Floyd. Huh?
That was a late sesh you're talking about. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So it was Pink Floyd, The Wall. And by the way, I've got tickets for Roger Waters, September of 2022. It was canceled during COVID, and they just rescheduled it. I'm still waiting for my Stones tickets to come through. Anyway, everybody's talking about their first concert.
I got refunded my Stones ticket money.
See?
Oh, I got refunded my Stones ticket money. I had tickets to that damn concert last June. I say damn concert because there was supposed to be a special occasion.
Yeah, but you got dead tickets now, dude.
Yet to grab them, but yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to get them.
I'm still holding my tickets. But I go off on another rant. Well, very quickly, I've never seen them. And I had tickets one time, and on the way down to Vancouver, it's about a 6-hour drive. We got down there, and Mick Jagger had a sore throat, so they canceled the concert. So we drove home early, and were involved in a head-on collision, which was pretty traumatic. But so I always blame him for that. And then they rescheduled, and even though my girlfriend and I were confined to wheelchairs, I gave the tickets to Buddy. And then afterwards, I realized we could have gotten probably the best seats in the house, being in a wheelchair, man.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So I blew that. So I got these tickets, and who knows? Mick might make it. He's got to be what? Oh, man, he's getting on there. But anyway, I'm not finished my story. So I typed in my first concert, and it was the Beatles, 1964. And I remember Red looked at the chat and went, what the fuck? The Beatles, 1964. And yeah, Vancouver, Canada. It was my 17th birthday, August the 22nd, 1964. So there you go.
That's fucking awesome, man, because I think that they came through Detroit that year with their first run into Detroit, and it was Olympia State. I think it was Olympia Stadium that they came through first, which is an old Red Wings. The Red Wings played there originally. I think they played at Olympia, which it would have been a hockey arena. That would have been fantastic, Uncle Rick. And you know, when you were on the show, I was like thinking about it, and I totally forgot that you were like in Vancouver, and I was thinking that you were in Detroit, and I was like, oh, cool, man, you were at that Olympia show. I had some family that were also, but you know, you weren't. You were a few days, probably maybe weeks prior. But that is such a cool show, man. That is so.
Can you imagine your first fucking show as the Beatles? Come on,
Beatles, dude. I mean, that's amazing.
Uncle Rick's a fucking legend.
Paul McCartney's still jamming. I got a chance to see Paul McCartney about a decade ago, and maybe a little. Yeah, it was about 9 or 10 years ago, dude. I mean, he was in his 70s at the time. I had never seen somebody his age just like rocking out the way that he was. I mean,
I'll bet you I saw the
upbeat. You know,
I bet you I saw the same concert. He did not do a costume change. He stayed on the stage the whole concert.
He did. I was so impressed, man. I was so impressed. Finishes the show with Live and Let Die, fireworks, the whole nine. My dad had actually asked if he finished the show with Live and Let Die and did fireworks, and apparently that must be a thing. He saw Wings back in the 80s or something like that, and that was a big thing that Wings was doing, was Live and Let Die with that whole thing. But man, that was phenomenal. I also saw Ringo Starr, which was just after George Harrison had passed away. It was like the late 90s, early 2000s or something like that. Obviously never got a chance to see George Harrison, and have only had conversations with John Lennon in my dreams, literally, very strange dreams. I've always just been into music and stuff, listening to like that style of music, doing like reports and things like that on them. So there may be some kind of an awkward, strange connection into the music realm that I feel, but I love it, man. All that stuff has been my, it's my come up, my cool down. I love music. It's great. A lot of those dreams. Uncle Rick, man, that's a fantastic story, dude. I always say, I always think that I try to make my cool first music concert story as cool as I can. Say that it was the Prince story that I went to in my mom's womb, because I wasn't even born yet. But in reality, my first concert was fucking Mary Chapin Carpenter and like Randy Travis or some shit. I barely remember it. I'm sure I smelled some grass in the air. I'm sure they were token at that.
Hey, I like Mary Chapin.
Pine Knob. It was at Pine Knob, though. I can always say my first real concert was at Pine Knob. It was Vince Gill and Mary Chapin Carpenter. That's why it was so
Vince Gill.
Vince Gill.
That's rough. That's a little rough.
Rough, man. It couldn't even have been like who was the Billy Ray Cyrus or something?
Ray.
I mean,
that was my first CD. My very first CD I ever bought was Achy Breaky Heart.
Achy Breaky Heart, dude. Oh yeah. Listen to that one many, many, many times. Of course, driving everywhere in the family vacations, it was all you can't even call it country music because at the time it's young country music. It was all that new rock and roll country. Nah, that ain't country. I like old Western style. I like roots. I'm a big fan of the Dead and roots music, and Willie Nelson and shit like that.
Spartan, I gotta give you props, man. You got some. After seeing you in action on Monday night, and then just admitting now that you bought Achy Breaky Heart, dude. Dude, balls of steel, man.
Hey, man.
I love it. You're my hero.
No fucks given, bro. No fucks given.
Hey, man. I mean, trust me, I saw Bob Seger as my first concert. That wasn't like, something you want to super brag about back in the 80s when I was coming through because of all the metal shit that was happening. But I did get to see Stevie Ray Vaughan open up for them before anybody even knew who he was.
That's awesome.
I was standing right at the front of the stage. Actually, I saw him 4 times.
That was my answer on. I don't know if you said that. This is funny.
Hat.
Rick is like driving the conversation. He's not even saying a word. But on that same late session, the question was asked, like, if you could see, like, the dream concert, if you could see anybody at any time, what would it have been? And one of my answers, I think I had like 2 or 3, but one of them I said, I think my top answer was Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like, if I could see Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, so
but wasn't it? Didn't somebody say something about Stevie Ray Vaughan opening for Bob Seger? I feel like somebody else.
They did.
Was it you that was saying that?
Okay.
Talk about it. Okay, you were in chat or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what it was. Okay. Right on.
Actually, too, the night that he died, I had to work, unfortunately, and all my friends went up to Alpine to see him and Eric Clapton. And I had another good friend of mine who's a musician, who's a bass player, and he was friends with Lonnie Brooks, who's a blues musician from downtown Chicago. And he has the beat on when like Eric Clapton and these guys come into town. They do their show, but their fun part is after the show, they go to one of the blues bars and they basically, if you're there, doors get closed, you're in and you're sitting right there in front with Eric Clapton and whoever else. I mean, at the time, B.B. King could be there. And
holy shit, dude.
So, yeah, we got the beat that they were going down to this one blues bar. So
was that in Chicago?
Yeah.
By chance? I think I've heard about that place, man.
There's all kinds of blues bars out.
Okay. All right.
This particular one was called Kingston Mines. That Eric Clapton was supposed to be there. Jeff Beck was going to be there. So we were on our way downtown at that time. It was like, I don't know, midnight. We were heading down because they wouldn't have got there till like about 1. And that's when it came over the radio that there was a big crash and they didn't know exactly who was on it. They weren't saying anything, but they said they think it was one of the musicians. They weren't sure. So yeah, that sucked. So
Yeah, it
That's
sucked, man.
crazy.
Yeah, Bob Seger would be right at the very top of my list if I could see any artist in their prime going back. Yeah, it's huge. I had a dog named Bob Seger, for fuck's sake. So I'm a huge fan of the guy.
Oh, he put on
They
a
got
great
that.
show.
They got that. What is it like? Get Out of Denver or something that's like 20 minutes long. There's like a live version of Get Out of Denver that's absolutely fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite Bob Seger songs. It might be Get Out of Denver. Might be something else though. He does, man. He kills it. He did awesome work. Was it with the Silver Bullet Band? That's what it was. Yeah, Silver Bullet Band.
Yep. Yeah, they rocked. They were good, man. You guys had a lot of good bands up there in Detroit.
Man, I can get down with just about any kind of music. I don't go
Call it Motown.
Oh yeah. Well, shit. That's a whole thing in itself.
Oh yeah, I see you KNC Gardens with Joe Bonamassa, dude. That man fucking wails.
Dude, Joe Bonamassa, I fucking love that guy. He'd be right at the top of my list of people I could see. I stumbled onto his live at the Royal Albert Hall, and he opens up with Ballad of John Henry, and I'm just like, I'd heard of him and read about him in Classic Rock magazine for quite a few years, but I'd never actually heard him. And I was just like, right there, just mind blown. And then you get through there, and like his version of Just Got Paid, I was just like, by the time he hit you with that, I was just like, that's it. Who's this guy? I got to search him out and find everything he's ever done, which is damn near impossible because he seems to put out like 4 or 5 albums a year.
I got to listen to him live from a chairlift on Montage Mountain, Pennsylvania, in Scranton, Pennsylvania. There's a Peach Music Festival. He was headlining, and I was walking to his set, kind of down the mountain and around the corner, when lo and behold, the chairlift for the day had opened up. And I said, fuck, I can't miss out a ride on the chairlift, and I can hear Joe Bonamassa playing. So I jumped on that. I didn't really catch him like visually, but I listened to his whole fucking set, like 60 feet off the ground in a chairlift over views of the entire fucking Western Scranton area. It was fucking phenomenal, dude. Joe kills it on guitar. He's an excellent blues artist. If anybody gets a chance to just listen to, even go check out his YouTube channels, man. It's fucking phenomenal music.
I consider him to be like our generation's Eric Clapton, straight up.
That Eric Clapton thing saddens me because I always wanted to catch him live, and within the last couple of years, his health has been deteriorating slightly. So good vibes out to Eric Clapton, man. He can recover and get back on the road, so we can go visit him, man.
I mean, let alone the legend that he is on the guitar, but God, I love his fucking voice, man.
Yeah,
so good.
Call him Slow Hand, dude. It's amazing. Your finger's so fast it looks slow. Yes, Blue Kiss, Tedeschi Trust Band.
One of my all-time favorite posters was the one of him sitting there playing the guitar, and he's got the cigarette sitting up at the head of the guitar tucked in there and just playing, twiddling about. And I have a buddy had it on his wall. I always wanted to kind of fucking jack it off him, but I probably would have got thumped pretty hard if I would have done that, so not worth it.
My most memorable music moment was sitting on. I guess I should get the setting and scene. I was like 19, so it was like 17 years ago or something like that. I was fortunate enough to take a couple night vacation to London. And while I was over there, I did some stuff like walk across Abbey Road barefoot, some random things like that. And there was a Rock and Roll Hall of not Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Hard Rock Music, where this Hard Rock Cafe, of course, and the Hard Rock Cafe in London specifically has the vault, and it's across the street from the restaurant. which was an old bank. And so like the store for the Hard Rock Cafe is like the upstairs of the bank. So if you want pins or t-shirts or whatever, you got to go across the street, go to the merchandise shop. But if you go into the basement, you get a tour of the vault, which is actually the old vault of the bank. And so you go into this huge vault door, and inside has things like John Lennon's Give Peace a Chance, War is Over jacket. That was like a military jacket that he wore through his protests in New York. He also had a pair of round broken glasses that he wore, which I'm very curious on why they were broken and if those were the pair of glasses that he was wearing when he was shot. It's very possible. It also had in handwriting. You couldn't touch anything in this specific locker. Everything else in the vault you could touch. It was a complete hands-on museum. You could not touch John Lennon's things. Those were the only things that you could not touch. Everything else hands-on. I got to sit on Jimi Hendrix's satin pillows that were most likely in his apartment when he had passed away. Put on, Bob Dylan's jacket, strum his leather-bound acoustic guitar. Bob Dylan had some fantastic instruments, man. Leather-bound acoustic guitar. Just all the memorabilia in here. It was like clothing and all stuff that you can like put on, like Janis Joplin's feathered hat and all kinds of really, really wild stuff, man. But do not touch John Lennon's handwriting. It was really cool, man. I feel like
I would get a kick out of doing all those things you described.
I was like
over fucking with any of John Lennon's shit. I
was
I can
so
do this other stuff.
fucking amazed. I was so fucking amazed about everything, dude. I totally sat all over Jimi Hendrix's pillows and like was just like everything that I could like touch and just whatever, man. Oh yeah, I got it all.
Get their microbes on you, man.
Yeah.
And about 75,000 people's, but hey.
Yeah, seriously, right? Yeah. Probably more than that. Oh,
you're microbed out.
Yeah, those musician
roll
fans.
around in your garden afterwards, see if you can introduce some of them into there as some kind of IPM or something.
If I was smart enough, I would have found one of like Jerry Garcia's bandanas or something and tried to get a little dose of old Osley off of it. It's lingering around down there.
Go running.
So Red, we had a guest. Our guest, Crazy Pop Mom, did the hit the like button reminder for us, but we didn't have anybody do the live chat, top chat, and I was wondering if you could please do that for us.
Well, I suppose if you're hanging out in chat and you want to get a better experience, so you should go up and toggle that live chat, top chat, live chat. Click it back and forth a few times so you figure out where we're at, where you're at. And if you're hanging out with us live, feel free to have a better experience with us. Cheers, Uncle Rick. Thanks for reminding me to do that. And cheers, chat, and everybody tuning in.
Okay, thank you.
And yes,
thank
please
you.
like
now,
and
can you tell us the difference between live chat and top chat? I don't understand what the difference is.
well, top chat is all the top comments. Like Caribou Heart is a great show, and Uncle Rick, you're an awesome dude, and any like legit obvious tags and stuff are going to be in top chat, or like a major question or so. I really have no idea how the algorithm works, but if you're in live chat, you get it all. So I do know that. I know you miss a lot of shit in top chat. I'm not sure which is top and how they rate top to bottom, but live chat, there's no bottom. It's all live. It's we're rolling.
It's not just discriminating.
That's right. Yeah. Live chat does not discriminate. Unlike my joint that likes to go out as often as possible. So I'm going to relight it.
Right? Mine is right here.
Fine.
I've had it all freaking day and it won't stay lit. I get super mad, throw it wherever, and I grab my bong. I'm like, fuck this all day. Sorry.
That joint was rolled at 8:30 this morning.
I have roach problem. They're everywhere. All over my apartment. I'll just find them. Like, damn, that's where I got that one at.
I can vouch for that. He showed me. He's like, I got a roach problem. I'm looking for bugs.
Shout out to Dankman Dan. You know what you're talking about. He posted a picture of some roaches in our chat. I won't give up the details.
Oh man, dude.
But I shout out Dankman Dan for giving me a good shot of some roaches.
He did give us a good roach shot, that's for sure.
I don't think I've saved a roach since I started growing. I did used to save my roaches.
Same here. As soon as I started growing, all of that shit went out the fucking door, man.
Just in case. I'm not grown enough yet. Parole still comes through my apartment too much.
You gotta understand, that's all I do, dude. That's all. That's my life.
Right? Yeah, it's big leap and bounds from over there to over here.
I've not always been a bougie toker. I used to dig out old screens out of old brass bowls, roll those bad boys up, and toss them in a fresh bowl and smoke old screens because I had no weed.
I haven't had to dip it through the bag yet, but it's still up in the closet.
Pull the shit out of the bowl, wipe it on some paper, and smoke that. Yeah.
And man, do you get yeah. And man, those were the days, huh?
The days of being dry for like a week. And like on day one of being dry, there's like some crumbs laying around you can find. Day 2 of being dry, you're scraping your screens. Day 3 of being dry, you're smoking your screens. Day 4 of being dry, you're dismembering every single pipe that you own and scraping the shit out of them.
I specifically did not learn how to roll joints and just kept buying tons of bowls, because when I did run out, I'd have like 10 of these things. I could just scrape them all out. I could last a couple of weeks if I had to, but God, man. Yeah, I mean, I might be a little older. I grew up in the 80s, man. The drugs on war. It was bad. I mean, there were months where you couldn't get anything.
They call them the pre-medical days, man. That drought season was real. The drought season was October came around and it was real. The billboards were up. Are you dry yet, motherfuckers? Yeah, you assholes. We are dry. Motherfuckers. I swear, every year the billboards would be up. It'd be like, place your phone call if you know your local grower. Blah blah blah. Big X on a cannabis leaf and crazy shit. October, totally dry, dude. Smoking screens. Yep. End of October, not so much, but beginning of October. Bus season, dude. I hate bus season. That's what we would call it. I'd fucking call it bus season.
I remember back in high school, it was like through my dad's shit, hoping to find some weed. And I find this old metal pipe and I scrape it for whatever the hell I could get for resin out of it. And at some point in time later on, it occurs to me that I have never in my life seen my dad smoke out of a pipe. So how fucking old is this thing? How long has it been sitting in this drawer? You know, and then I think if I recall correctly, I probably even went back and tried re-scraping it again at another one of those real extra hurting moments where you're just like, maybe even just a half a hoot might give me a buzz kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, the stupid shit you'll do sometimes.
It's real.
Hey, it's nice being an adult with a job and being able to support your habits and stuff like that. And yeah, I did some fucked up shit to fucking smoke.
I think we all did.
Do you have an older brother, Caribou?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then it was your older brother's.
Was it?
Yep.
I remember, okay, so here's a good one. I remember back in like grade 8 and 9, there's this girl that had a massive crush on me, and her stepdad sold some of the best weed you were gonna find. And so she would give it to me because, you know, she had a crush on me. And I remember me and my brother, my brother was staying with us but didn't live with us at that point in time. I go and smoke a joint with him.
He got caught with that.
Well, I get caught because my mom's about to leave, and then she notices my eyes are just fucking and blood red, right? She's on her way out the door to do whatever, because this is going to be a big night. Mom's leaving. Mom never fucking leaves us alone. And so just she's out the door. She's like, looks at my eyes, busts me, and it's a big fucking thing with my brother. But the best part about it is she's pissed off at him for getting me fucking high, kicks them out of the house, don't come back. It ended up being a big thing in the family for a little bit there. It was actually my fucking weed. And
ask him if he got kicked out in the first place for that paraphernalia that you found that you were scraping the bowl.
No, well, yeah, that would maybe make sense.
Because that would explain him getting in so much trouble for getting you caught up in it.
I don't know, that one time that you found the pipe in my bag and it wasn't even mine. And then my friend was like, I'm not fucking come picking that up because you guys told me he had to pick it
He never showed up or she never showed up. I was like, yeah, you want to prove to me that that's somebody else's? You have them freaking show up. And I had it and I still probably have it.
I just like wanted to get suspended. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take that. And then I totally forgot. And then I got grounded for it. And it wasn't even mine, I swear.
But see, like my dad found a lot of my pipes growing up and they all went missing. And like, so it seems weird that he would keep that one. I would think it'd be more of something he would have had from like back when he was fucking younger.
Sentimental value.
You're right. Yeah.
Like, I remember I had this one that I found a rock like, in a river where we were doing some fishing and I was able to drill it out and turn it into a pipe. And I was so fucking proud of this thing. I used it once and only once. And then it just went missing from my room. Like, what the fuck? Just like to this day still, like probably about 25 years later, I do just about anything just to know where it is. You know, like you know damn well dad took it and chucked it because it's the only logical thing. My sisters were too young to be smoking weed at the time, you know.
What if everybody
Or another one was the Bunsen burner from high school. I stole one of those out of the science class and ripped that apart and kind of modded it out a little bit and turned that into a pipe. That was pretty decent.
That's kind of smart. Because like that's like a beaker thingy.
Yeah.
It's kind of smart.
Man, I just smoke joints. Smoke some joints. Smoke fucking out of glass. I guess I'm bougie.
See, I smoked joints right up until about 6 months ago, but this quarantine thing has got me going, what the hell can I do that's different than what I'm doing because I'm going crazy? So then I was like, hey, because all my kids smoke. So I'm just like, hey, anybody got an extra bong they can loan their mother so she can see if she even wants to smoke a bong? Well, my son's just like, yeah, here you go. And I'm like, that was like too fucking easy. He goes, I got like 4 or 5 up in the room and most of his are like, you know, on the floor and you're like that kind of fucking shit. And I'm like, can you give me something like a little mommy bong, right? So I'm sure y'all, my sister smokes my little mommy bong now. So you've probably seen that.
Oh, thank you. I'll be right there to grab it.
Sorry, guys.
I love the bong, man. That's it's so easy. You know what I mean? And
It is. It's so easy. I've never learned how to roll joints. I just used to bring Chris my weed in science class and be like, can you roll me a joint? And that's how I used to do that.
I just have a machine thing. You know, the little rollers.
I can't work that. I don't know how to do that. I've tried. I
man.
swear. I've really tried.
See, yeah, this is my portable bong. So this now I call my, what did I call it?
Babysitting
my
bong.
babysitting bong because this is what I carry around. Look at how dirty the fucking thing is. Clearly I'm not ever home to clean it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that's disgusting.
She thinks that's dirty, but I went and bought a new bong just so you guys didn't see how dirty my other bong was.
She
So
really did.
I buy shit called Peace Water, and you can leave it in there.
Yeah.
How disgusting that is, but it's just citric acid, is what it says. Is all it
I
is.
just heard about that the other
Like-
day and I'm like, I gotta try some of the shit.
I wish I could pour it out, but I obviously can't do that. But I mean, it's clean. The glass is clean.
It is clean. I can see that through the muck.
Except for the water looks super gross. I don't know if I can get
Yeah.
on board with that. What did you call it?
Oh, it's not.
I
like
just
the-
purple power for cleaning
doesn't
my
look-
shit out.
Oh, purple power.
So
don't think I've seen that.
That looks intense.
I
That's okay, that
totally
looks
subscribe.
It probably is.
It's like what we use on our kitchen floor at work.
Yeah, that shit does.
Rick told me about it because you go into like
Red.
our grocery store here in town and they got all these bong cleaner stuff, which I've never tried. I'd always used alcohol for like any kind of cleaning weed
Me
stuff.
too. Yeah.
And then I tried out this purple stuff. We're talking about it on the show, and Rick was talking about like he gets the same stuff at a different store that's for like basically automotive parts. And I thought he might have even been talking about something completely different. And I know he was talking about purple power, and sure enough, I went in there. You get it, it's like $38 for a gallon, whereas I paid $15 for a half a liter of it from the store.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Cannabis product markup.
Yeah, I've heard to use ZEP or ZEP.
Okay, yeah,
depending on
yeah.
Where you are.
Zep cleaner, sure. See, we
I
always
haven't
used to
tried it,
use.
but-
Well, sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we just always used like sea salts and alcohol.
Yes.
Sea salts, breaks it up.
Had to get a new fucking bong because she couldn't clean it. Don't fucking listen. She don't use shit. Okay, don't fucking listen to her.
Every like 6 months when I'm like, bro, my thing's really dirty. I should probably clean it. And then I pretend like I'm gonna clean it, and I kind of do but then I want to smoke. So then I'm just like over it. And yeah, new bong it is.
My dog just tripped me out.
I'm taking her old bong home because I'm like, if you can fucking just buy a bong every time yours is dirty, I'm just gonna steal a bong every time yours is dirty. So I'll have 150 by like,
don't judge me, Mom.
Year 2030.
I just broke mine last night. I knocked the thing off. Yeah. So I should have got one today, but I don't know. Someone turned me on to some local glass blower, so I guess I'll contact this guy Monday. And
my sister broke a piece last night. She was like wanting to cry. Yeah.
It sucks.
You don't have another one to use.
That's why I'm smoking bowls tonight. Otherwise,
I guess if we're talking about bongs, this is the first and only bong I've ever actually owned. Like store-bought bong. I used to make all sorts of them back in high school. That was one of my things. Like you just like pretty much like, oh, look at that. I could smoke out of that, turn that into a pipe type shit. And,
one of my special skills. I can turn.
I went and bought this thing. I was actually quite very, very impressed with how much better this is than most of the shit I made back in high school, or at least how much better I remember that stuff.
It beats the rock, I bet.
So I've been using not ISO, but like grain alcohol and like basically almost 95% grain alcohol and like salt forever until Becca shows up with this fucking, it's called Black Label, and she cleaned my entire glass collection in like 15 minutes. I can't do that with alcohol and salt. Like it's gonna take a couple of days. I gotta let stuff soak and like.
Buddy gave me a bottle of that stuff. It works great.
Like it didn't matter how funky and dirty any of this glass was. Like it got clean in 15 minutes. Everything, like each piece that was as gunked as possible was like 30 seconds clean, crystal clear. I was like, I don't know if it's, and I smelled it, and it smells like acetone, and I'm thinking it's acetone with a fancy food coloring. I don't know what it is, but it smells like acetone. So
what did you call it?
Curious.
Black Label, right? I think so.
Try nail polish remover. I'm gonna try nail polish remover and salt and see if that works. I don't think there should be a chemical reaction between that.
It does.
It works. I've done that before. You could ask my mom.
Nail polish remover?
Yeah, back
because I'm pretty sure that's what that is, acetone.
Yeah, I didn't worry about it taking any graphics off,
Yeah, I guess don't get it on the outside, I suppose. For sure. The Black Label did not mess with the graphics on her bong, but I don't know how. She's got a little Rick and Morty graphic bong, so like those graphics are still there. And she's been using it on her stuff for a really long time, probably before I met her. So acetone will work. Yes, I'm wondering if that's the base that this stuff is. I worked with acetone. What's the other? What's the stuff you put in what's race fuel? It's not method. All these different methods on my
ethanol, right?
Yeah, ethanol.
Yeah, but there's like a methanol. There it is. Yeah, methanol. I worked with methanol, a couple different types of alcohols. I think it was so I had 3 different cleaners that I would work with to clean electronics and part. I worked in aviation for a long time, and we would basically have bottles of ethanol, fucking acetone and alcohol, and those were our cleaning solvents. Unfortunately, I didn't use rubber gloves as often as I should have. I was a lot more ignorant than I am even now. In cannabis, I wear gloves on a daily basis, and I use gloves often and everything. I really should have, because I guess that you should not use. God, I can't even think of that word. You just said it. Say it again for me, please. What the hell is it?
Methanol.
Jeez, oh, Pete. I keep wanting to say methadone or methylone or something.
Methanol.
I got that fucking, I don't want to say I have methylone on my mind, but I was doing a lot of research about that because it's a common adulterant of Molly and MDMA and stuff like that. So it's just something that's been in the back of my mind, and not methanol. But yeah, man, I used to work with methanol, and I guess that's actually not that. Maybe it's acetone as well. I worked heavily with acetone without gloves on, but that stuff, one of them will actually damage your liver just from skin contact and stuff like that. So I don't work in that industry anymore. I'm kind of glad. I was working with a lot of stuff, a lot of chemicals. Otherwise, probably should have been wearing gloves and protecting my skin and eyes and all kinds of shit, and really wasn't. And so yeah, even though I'm still working with other things. I'm under high intensity lighting and strange environments that are sealed and high CO2 and shit like that. But I don't know.
Did you say methanol? You were looking into methanol as like a alternative to MDMA or whatever? Is that kind of similar to like the methadone that they were using before?
No, this is called methylone. Yeah, methylone, which is different than methadone. Methadone would act on your opioid receptors without, I guess, giving you a addiction response, or without getting you high or something like that.
That's methadone, right?
That's methadone, right?
But methadone was something that the Chinese came up with that was like alternative for MDMA.
Right. Yeah. And so methadone is that. And it's it's probably like a varying carbon atom or whatever they do. They move to carbon atom or something. And so MDMA, methyl dioxy methamphetamine. Yeah, MDMA is methyl dioxy methamphetamine. So MDMA is a whole bunch of methyl whatevers, you know what I mean, as it is. So it's just another carbon atom moved over. And I'm not sure what methadone does, why, if that even is like a epinephrine attacher, or if it strictly bonds to your opioid receptors, because what I heard is methadone, and which is weird because they have such similar names. You know what I mean? That's what throws me off, is because the name is so similar, but the effects are complete 180 from each other. So methadone is going to help somebody who's addicted to opioids cure their what would it be, withdrawal symptoms. You'd be able to bond to the receptor so you don't have withdrawal, but it's not going to get you like subjectively fucked up and stoned, so you can still like go about your business and do your thing and get better, so like those are the kind of, I'm guessing, the differences. But then they have the I may be wrong about that, and I may be thinking I might be wrong about that, and I might be thinking of Suboxone, because unless Suboxone and methadone are the same thing, I know that Suboxone.
So Suboxone is like you got your opiate receptor. Suboxone like fills it up with a bunch of tiny little fucking blocks that gradually kind of fall out. It's like. Or no, I'm sorry. Suboxone actually like covers it. Like methadone will actually cover inside of it. That's why it has such a strong half-life. But Suboxone will actually cover your opiate receptor. So it acts like you're getting high, but you're not getting the effect of it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So very similar.
Yeah. That's why it acts, and people think they're getting high and stuff like that. But you can actually not get high. That's why a lot of people overdose, because they try to get high, they're not getting high, they're getting more and more high, but all that opiate is still in their system, and it's going to eventually go somewhere. So as soon as that stuff starts to wear off, if it's within that amount of time, it's going to flood their system and they overdose.
Yeah, man.
Just bad stuff.
Yeah, bad stuff. And then on the other side of the spectrum, the stimulant side of the spectrum, or the serotonin side of the spectrum, you have that methadone, which is basically so I don't know if they've put any kind of scheduling on that yet, but I know that was being passed around as Molly like crazy within the last decade. A decade ago, it'd be like more or less white powder and with a little bit of Molly. There'd be a little bit of maybe there's some Molly in it, but it was mostly that. And so there's a statistic that's like 98 or 99% of the samples found are that and not actually MDMA. That's crazy. That's like, this is, street samples or whatever. Maybe it's like 90%, but even still, that's a crazy high percentage of adulterated fucking street drugs, so like you can't trust any of that shit. There's so much fake drugs, fake acid, fake everything out there. That's what Clarity Science is about, just test your shit.
Well, that's what I was telling my buddy. He's like, hell yeah, man, we're gonna go get some acid from some random dude nobody fucking knows. And I'm like, just be careful, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they got cheap test kits, I'll pay for it if you want.
Yeah, I wish they were cheaper for their like shelf life. I'm the type of person who I might source something once every few years, and like you get a thing of test kits and it's like 100 tests, and you spend like $60 or $70 on it, and you might use it once or twice. But still, I like to have them in case anybody else wants to test some shit. I always take that shit with me if I'm on the road, going to festivals or going to events and shit like that. People come around, hey, look what I got. I'm like, hey, do you want to test it first? Or, whatever. I'll give you a test, whatever. I don't care. I carry fentanyl tests around with me, all kinds of shit, just in case, man. Shit's $1 for me. It's life for somebody else.
I've lost a lot of people to opiate stuff, you know what I mean? So I used to carry around Narcan and stuff like that just because, never know. You might see somebody at, especially around Chicago, you might see somebody at the bus stop falling out,
Sure. Yeah. A lot of people, have that. It's their decision to, do drugs, and it is, but it's also, I think that there's a big mental health problem that we have. I think that there's a lot of issues on why people do things, and it might not all be because they're bad people, it might all be because people have tough lives and they have different ways of coping.
Everybody deals with trauma differently. Everybody has trauma,
there's some fucked up things going on in modern world and old world and just forever, and humans have always been using these substances, so it's just gonna continuously occur.
I just found, especially in those harder drug situations, it's like people feel ashamed doing them, and then people shame them for doing them. You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh fuck, they don't want to tell anybody about shit, until it's too late. So that's definitely something like with your Polarity Science. I love that you're educating people about, safe practices and harm reduction. And if you're going to make this decision, it's your decision to make. You know what I mean? Here's what you need to know about it.
Yeah, man, I'd like to go on what Graham Hancock talks about, us all just being sovereign adults. And, we all talk about freedom and all of that stuff. And I believe that we should have the ability to have free consciousness. I'm one of those people. It's like, don't vandalize, don't steal. There's basic, morals, there's like life codes you should live by, about your like fellow brother and, your, things like that. And that whole thing with the, I'm not gonna get back into the caregiver and the other thing, but like that stuff to me, it's just like, it hurts some, sir, because I'm still selling their products based on my own personal ethics, which are still beating my own personal ethics. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm bad. I'm at a battle with myself, and it's like, it's frustrating, but yeah, man. There's a lot of confusion out there. So I've tried to put this out. I've tried to make information possible. There's been a lot of good things that I've came across online, right? That dude, Psych Substance, Adam, he's put a lot of like that harm reduction information out there. And throughout the years, like just following Reddit and some other things, like there's some wild stories. And some of that stuff alone has helped me kind of second guess some things. And there are times where I've seen myself, opioids included, falling down the wrong rabbit holes. And if it wasn't for, maybe psychedelics, or if it wasn't for, you know, harm reduction or some of these other practices that I see, self-discipline and stuff like that, meditation, the ability for someone to just work hard or something like that, who knows where I'd be. You know, I'd be on the other end of the spectrum, probably needing to like view some harm reduction, because I've definitely been on like the wrong end of the harm reduction thing. You know, I've been down the rabbit hole too hard. I've been there, man, you know, and and I've seen a lot of my friends not come back. So that's where I'm at now. I feel like I'm a very sound adult. You know, I don't drink much anymore. I quit nicotine 4.5 years ago. I've done a lot of personal willful self-discipline goals, you know, quit caffeine for years at a time, go back to caffeine, you know, to go off, you know, but I still haven't gone back to nicotine. You know, alcohol, I had some wine last night. It was probably the first time I had alcohol. I don't know when the last time I had alcohol was, so it's probably been a couple months, but like that's my thing. I don't feel like I have to keep it out of my life, but I feel like, you know, as long as I'm disciplined with my actions, or I acknowledge what I'm doing.
I know what's going to happen before I do something now. You know what I mean? Like, I know the consequences of it. I don't need to go try anything. I don't need to experiment on anything. You know what I mean? So I definitely had to follow that path as well, because it was kind of, I grew up in the era of, hey, if you smoke this joint, you're going to be, you know, shooting fucking meth in a month or whatever. You know what I mean? So when I smoked a joint and that didn't happen, I was like, oh, well, what else did they lie about? So
yeah,
it definitely went down some darker roads, but it ultimately put me in a position where I can reach out to more people and show them.
I never got, I would never, ever put cannabis on that like gateway path. I think alcohol and probably stimulants like Red Bull, caffeine, cocaine, stuff like that. I never did cocaine a lot. You know, I've done it like once or 3 or 4 times in my life, you know, but like other than that, allegedly, right? I don't like that. I don't like those like heavy stimulants, but that type of stuff was like, I was always chasing those type of stimulated type highs, caffeine, you know, taking supplements and shit like that, researching what's in energy drinks and taking those type of supplements and stuff, you know, being way too smart for my own good, with pharmacology, you know, cannabis, man, never a gateway. You know, for me, cannabis was just like either my mellow out, my functional thing, help me mind my own business most of the time. And
so I think for some reason it could be construed as a gateway, because maybe some of these places where you had to find cannabis, a lot of other things were available, and you might not have been exposed to that if you had a safer alternative of getting it, you know. But that also comes with lack of education of what those other substances are and what they do and what they can do, and being honest about it. You know what I mean? Not everybody's going to end up addicted to that shit. You know what I mean? But if people are going to have some really bad times and have some really shitty fucking decisions made while doing it, you know what I mean? And that stuff needs to be talked about and educated, because people are going to do it regardless. So
they are, man.
Yeah, I almost feel like with UDP, it was like because they lied to you about marijuana and you're like, well, okay, that didn't happen. So when they said meth, or like, I don't know what you did, but you know, like they said meth was doing this. So I wonder, does it really do that? Or, you know, the cocaine or whatever, like you just, if you're lied to, then you're kind of just like, well, I'll test everything else out because they lied
always going to be around, especially in, you know, I mean, somewhere like where I was. And so it's just, you know, that cannabis gave me that. At that time, I didn't know. It gave me that relief I needed from overstimulation of ADHD and some other things and stuff like that. So cannabis helps me be able to kind of observe things instead of reacting to what's going on in front of me. And so it wasn't always around, you know what I mean? So you look at the other things because you don't know, you know what I mean? And kind of just start following those things. So that's why, you know, I like you said, cannabis was always there as my lifesaver. You know what I mean? My life ring is thrown out like, hey, man, chill out. You know what I mean? Slow down. Take a breather, look what you're doing, check yourself, get back on track, you know. And that's why I've always loved it and loved the cannabis community, because they were always there as well.
Absolutely.
It's true. If I can smoke pot, I don't think I'd have much of it anymore. Adoption.
Right.
Hey guys, I'm gonna cut out. I gotta check on my kids. They've been running around the house, and
I got to jump out here.
I'm a terrible parent right now.
You're having a blast. I love you.
Yeah, it's a free for all. You think you're on this
They're-
video chat.
Straight up, Willow is
Right.
up there.
Let him go catch some cicadas.
Oh, there
I
you
got
go.
them taped up in the corner. They're not going anywhere.
You got a recipe for him yet? Cicada brew,
Yeah.
Fried cicada.
fried cicada truffles.
I saw. I think Sequence posted something with that. He had some recipe for some deep fried cicada.
Yeah,
I
shit.
posted
Yeah.
one, and I rabbit holed into a whole what kind of cicada recipes are out there, and there's a lot of them, dude.
Oh, there is. I'm
A
sure,
lot
man. I
of
did
them.
earthworm cookies in like 6th grade or something. We had to dissect the worm, and then the teacher like cooked them in these chocolate chips, and we ate them, and it was actually good. And you were getting shit tons of protein, but
What a
still, you know, I was a kid.
Teacher
You know,
ever, dude. No way.
If that teacher's around now, I definitely want to have a sesh.
I was a kid, and there was
hilarious.
chocolate in it. You know, chocolate's like cocaine to kids. It didn't matter. Well, earthworms, I don't give a shit. I was eating everybody's
That's
cookie that
aw-
didn't
oh yeah,
want.
I'm
like,
sure
I'll
so many
take it.
kids were about it. Yeah, that's so great. Kids are so.
All right, guys. Peace out, man.
Up,
Take
brother.
care. I'll see
buddy.
you around. See you in the morning on your show.
Love you, buddy.
All right. Love you too, guys. Take care.
Great night.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
jump out of here too, guys. While I can piggyback off of him because I'm getting.
I'm
pretty
right
fucking
there on
crazy
it.
here.
Yeah. Before I just wanted to say, almost 4 hours. My goodness. Sometimes it really goes fast. Great to be with you all tonight. Absolutely. We've got. Remind me, we've got the Sequence on Sunday,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll catch Red and Barton in the chat. Or
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You
You're
guys get up
around?
early as fuck. I don't know if I'm gonna be up that
Was
early.
that Sunday morning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. it was.
be 9 o'clock
p.m.
your
Eastern.
time.
9 o'clock my
9 a.m.
time.
9
I'll be
a.m.
opening. I'll be opening the store. If it's slow, I'll pop in chat and say hello.
And then
Right on.
actually,
right on.
and then
Oh.
since we're talking about the upcoming schedule there, Rick, earlier today, our guest for this Tuesday, next Tuesday, I guess it'd be, he canceled. And I know Sam was talking to Dave's not here about getting him on. And so I asked him in the chat if he wanted to come on and practice blowing up his blow up doll for us on the show. And he said he could probably pencil us into the schedule. So next Tuesday, we got Dave's not here coming on for a bullshit session. So that should be a lot of fun. Should be nothing but dick
Oh, yeah,
jokes
Dave.
and whatnot coming out with that guy.
Fucking right. Right. He has
Fantastic.
that cracking up. He has me forget I'm even in a square. I'm just sitting there in chat reading his shit.
Yeah. Dave's
I'm
a
going
good
to
guy
say
too.
goodnight as well.
Been a
Love
lot.
you, everybody.
Oh yeah, thanks for inviting me on, man.
I'm out of here. See you
Absolutely.
guys.
Great to see
See
you.
you
Have a
later.
great night.
Love you guys.
Caribou, Crazy Pop Mom,
Bye.
DP.
Catch you later.
Thanks
I
for
can't
coming on,
remember
guys.
Sparkly something or another. I can't remember.
That was basically the point.
All right. Okay. And yeah, we figure we may as well shut her down. I'm tired. It's been a long day. I've been at it since 3 a.m. my time, and it's just about 10 o'clock. So it's
Yeah, I still got to go home.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I'm like, oh shit, your father, he's supposed to come get me, right? 4 hours. What do you mean, Uncle Rick? 4 hours? What the fuck are you talking about?
This is great though. Red, thanks for coming on, brother. This is
Oh
great.
yeah, for sure, man. Caribou, where are you? It's almost 10 a.m. where you are. I thought you were in.
No, 10 p.m. Sorry, 10 p.m.
Oh,
yeah,
10
no,
p.m.
no.
Oh my god, I was like, dude, I thought you were in Vancouver or like the
Well,
West Coast. Like,
I'm not far from Vancouver, about 5 hours north, but like I
Right, right.
start my day at like 3 a.m., 3 to 4 a.m. typically. So it's we're not too far from that. It's just like I want to lay down. Watch it.
will you lay down, man? It's almost 1 a.m. my time, so I'm gonna check out myself. And thanks for inviting me on, man. Everybody have a great night.
All
Have a
right,
great
cheers,
night.
brother.
You had a good sleep.
Peace out,
Crazy
everybody.
Pop. Right.
Appreciate you all.
Crazy Pop Mom, thanks for coming on as always.
No
Great to meet
problem.
your daughter. I can't hear your names too long and fucked up. I can't remember. Let's hear it again. What is
I
it?
told her she had to shorten it. She was like, nope, I'm not.
Well, Well, even you had to share. Well, you didn't have to, but you were nice enough to shorten your name from Crazy Crafty Pop Mom because I stumbled.
You
over
know it now, though. Look at you go.
I had to think really hard about that, though. When you're trying to sit there and you're trying to read off a bunch of names or memorize a bunch of names, and like cutting out syllables does a lot for the memory.
Right? I was like, if I cut out a whole word, he's gonna get my name.
It was like that.
It was. You did. You had it the next time. Yeah. I appreciate that. I feel the love.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. It was great meeting you. And everybody in chat, you guys are awesome. We love you.
Yes, they are. I hadn't been in there.
And we'll see you all Sunday for bullshit session with Sequence. And then, like I said, Dave's not here Tuesday coming up. It's gonna be